last we left off, as the Heralds of Chaos, or still possibly to be named something else, depending
No,
on
I'm pretty
what they
sure we've
want.
settled on the Heralds of Chaos.
Oh, I mean, to be fair, last week there was a debate on disturbance in the Force.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We might be earning a new name.
Even like still very much chaos.
Either way, so as they had found themselves in the township of Roan, to look into an individual within the military who may be connected to the disappearance of Henna's Sammy and Aspen's Mortem, they bumped into their friend and companion Bora, learned of Orin's truly false nature of being Lysil, and also his expert sneaking skills. And
He didn't.
and
didn't
sent
get caught.
Midir and Enoch on a duo mission to.
Remember, Enoch tagged along. It was originally just going to be a Midir solo.
True, a solo mission that became duo, in which they were only trying to get blood, and they went above and beyond in different ways. R.I.P. You know, in Brick, the dude that got sent to carcery. And R.I.P.
He was just a bad guy.
Yeah, and R.I.P. to Amber, who got, like, sent to fucking Gehenna.
I don't think that's going to be a rest in peace.
It's gonna be rest, alright, but not in peace.
I don't think it's even going to be rest. It might be just rot.
Anyway. As they successfully did their mission, Midir getting a vial of blood for Enoch after killing one of the guards. Enoch also on his while painting some stuff on the wall ended up taking himself and 6 of the other guards out of the equation for the next few days.
Or more permanently, depending upon the guard.
Yeah, or more permanently. I mean, honestly, technically, that one dude who actually just ended up 40 miles away can get back here in like 2 days.
Does he know where
And
he
I
is,
fully
though?
intend for him to be completely met by insanity and death.
We'll see. It depends on how long you guys decide to prepare. But yeah, as we do that, we'll first catch up with Creed and Selena, who are on their way to Darut to look into this individual with the sword that they're looking for. They're currently maybe about midway on the journey between the town that they were in, or the village they were in of Balloon, and the city of Fethrin. Sorry, Fethrin. Along the journey, they bumped into and avoided a blue dragon, as Creed went full Deku mode. And Izzy and Selena basically barely kept the 3 of them alive. As you guys have been traveling, sorry, for most of the day, eventually after your harrowing encounter, night fell and the heat of the desert now becomes a very cold chill due to night passing over. It's very uncomfortable and, while not dangerous, definitely an issue for the most part, since none of you seem to have blankets, if I'm aware, or better rolls.
Yeah, I don't think so. might have a bedroll.
Yeah, I have a bedroll.
Alright, then you two will be fine, I think.
Haha, just kidding, I don't think I do.
Alright, well, if you don't, then
Do
I need
not.
to...
I do.
Okay, if you do... If either of you don't, then just roll me a con save. But, yeah. And you manage to wake up the next morning and continue on your... travels. I'll say Creed, roll me... No, I'll say that with Izzy's help, the two of you are able to continue the same direction without losing track of where you are and which direction you're heading. I'll say either one of you roll me a D1. Yeah, D100.
I'll do it.
Okay, go for it.
Let's see. 26, okay. Alright. First half of the day seems to pass by with no excitement and relative comfortability for the two fire-resistant tieflings. Izzy spends another day in very uncomfortable heat, constantly having to drain the sweat from her clothes, even with her white robes on. And eventually, after traveling about half of your day's travel on the road, you eventually see what looks to be some kind of little stone hut off the side of the road, about a few 100 feet.
A stone.
On the side of the road?
What was that?
We saw a cart on the side of the road?
No, like a stone structure.
Oh, sorry. That makes more sense.
Come on.
Does it look like someone lives in it?
Do you choose to approach?
He's gonna keep his distance, but just try to see if someone lives there.
Selena will stay back. She doesn't want to approach this thing.
Alright, so as you get closer and closer, it seems... From what you can hear, see, and notice from a relatively safe distance, you can't tell if there's any movement or anything going on inside. The door seems to be shut, but there doesn't seem to be windows. There seems to be openings like where windows would be, but there doesn't actually seem to be any glass there.
Reed is going to use his divine sense to detect.
Alright. Within 60 feet of you, you check for your divine sense, and you feel the very faint presence of two fiends and one celestial.
Ah,
Fair enough.
Is it, like, in the house?
No.
I'm pretty sure it's us.
Oh. Okay. Makes sense.
There's two half fiends and one half celestial.
Well, then... Yeah, probably not gonna say anything about it. He'll go over to the hut and try to check it out.
Alright.
Selena will send Seer just to sit with Creed and then tell him to come back if there's a problem.
Okay. So, Creed, as you go closer and closer to the hut, eventually you peer inside, and it seems to be some kind of very small makeshift temple. You look inside, and you can very clearly tell. It seems to be this, depiction of Torek with Chexlo in sort of cat form by her feet. As it seems it's a small little shrine dedicated to both Chexlo and Torek.
He's gonna pause for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll like call over to them that it's just a temple, like a makeshift temple. And he's going to just check out the figures, I guess. Kind of look them over.
Sorry, what are you gonna do?
He's gonna like inspect the figures for a second. Like make sure they're actually like
Sure,
you
roll
know, like
to the two gods.
yeah.
You can either choose to roll a religion or investigation.
23.
They are in fact statues that seem to be hand carved of Torek and Chexlo. You feel that they are solid stone. Solid sandstone. It is hard to deny that these are what they seem to be.
Awesome.
Selena will start to approach.
Alright. So you start approaching Creed, the hut, and the statues.
Yeah, she'll just stick close to like the entryway of the hut. Like she won't go too far in.
Sure. Izzy will join you, but then eventually go in and meet with Creed. And she's just gonna sort of stand by you, Creed, and she's gonna just be staring at the statue while you're looking at it as well.
Creed is going to like reach out and very carefully set his hand the cat version Chexlo and just kind of mumble that he needs to speak with him or like just get a blessing from him whenever he has the time.
Okay,
You're
so
not
you,
busy.
so you want to spend some time worshipping at the statue?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay. So you do so, and Creed. You hear a voice in your head.
Mhm.
It says, "Go to the root. Protect it from the beast of cloven hooves." Do you happen to catch what I said?
Go to the root, protect the beast of cloven.
Protect it from the beast of cloven hooves.
Okay. Could I tell if that was for Chexlo?
It didn't. It sounded more masculine from what you could tell. So unlikely Torek.
Then he's going to just stand up, look at Izzy and Selena, and say, "We have to go to the root."
Izzy looks to you and she says, "Isn't that where we were already going?"
Yup. There's something going on there.
What do you mean something going on?
I was told we have to protect the root from a beast of cloven hoof. That's all I was told.
That sounds ominous. Okay.
Are you told things often?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Straight up flat
Okay.
face. Walking past her. Yes.
Fair enough. Like, I
What
thought
do
it
you
was weird
expect?
that my bird was talking to me, but like, you're talking to a statue.
She's also a paladin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Selena knows nothing of religion.
She knows the gods exist. She just never puts any stock into them.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, sure, they're there. They do things, I guess.
All right.
Okay.
So, you
What?
you guys
How long have we been traveling today?
about half the normal amount you generally travel.
Okay, so we should still have some more movement in us.
Yeah, you still have some more daylight ahead of you
Okay.
to travel. So, from what you're gauging, Creed, it might take you another day of travel, like including the half day that you have now. So, half day after today to get to the city of Fethrin, unless you want to bypass that and make your way straight to Durut. Because
How long?
it's not directly on the way to Durut, but it's not too far off the path. Maybe like an extra day's travel. If you wanted to stop by a city.
I think he's good enough with what he's got, so he would definitely, if it's faster, just go straight there. He'd start leading him straight there.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Izzy will also mention this to Selena, so she can also make her own decision on it. But yeah.
I mean, Selena's taking their lead on this, so if that's the route they're saying to go, she's not gonna argue it.
Izzy just
She doesn't have money. It's not like she can buy stuff in the city.
Yeah, fair enough. Izzy is just looking at Creed when he's talking about this, and she says, "All right, if you're sure about this," she's looking at you very like, "Are you sure about this?"
I'm sure.
All right.
Just
So you guys
trust
continue.
me on this, little sister.
Sorry, did he say little sis?
Yep.
She like slaps him upside the back of the head. Don't be a liar.
Don't be a liar.
Alright.
Yeah, you guys continue the rest of the day of travel. Not too engaged with anything else, as the road is very, very empty. Now, with direction and purpose, and seemingly in a mission to defend Darut, you make your way. As we will cut back over to the others, specifically at this point, Madir, it's been
Guys,
a few hours, and you finally, now that it's late into the evening, have gotten back to Rhone. And where were y'all supposed to meet up?
On the road.
Right.
Yeah, wasn't supposed to head all the way back into Roan. Gonna meet him on the road.
All right.
The Roan road.
Well, I'll say that you managed to make it about 60% of the travel time up the road towards Rhone, and you're wondering like when your companions are going to meet up with you, and they eventually do, unless there's anything else the three of you would like to do while in Rhone, as I assume Bora at this point has said, I'm just gonna go to Lafayette.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Especially after hearing that there might be a griffin outside of it.
She's going for the griffin, y'all know that, right?
Not if the Griffin gets teleported.
Enoch's actually on the back of the griffin right now in the astral plane.
I'm really hoping that griffin is gone because it was supposed to be taken care of. So
True.
Can Enoch
We
turn
need
it
the
into a
Griffin.
wild magic griffin?
You do, yeah. Don't forget that it does take some time to get from Highmore to Lafayette, about like 11 days, and you only contacted that individual, I believe, roughly 6 or so days ago. What?
So if I contacted him 6 days ago, it should be taken care of.
I said it took like 11 days to get to Lafayette from Highmore.
I think you said freaking 3.
No.
No, it was 11.
It was 3 days on the back of the Griffin.
Oh, that's why. Hey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
that's, you honestly, it would have been, here's the problem. It would normally be faster to get to from Highmore to where he was supposed to go, because he could have taken a ship, but someone said, go to Lafayette and deal with the horny Griffin.
It needed to be dealt with.
And it currently is, but at the expense of time.
Sucks to suck.
He's gonna get payment back for this. Alright. So you guys eventually meet up with Midir. And Midir looks cut up, and yeah. Midir, you could have taken a short rest while on the road.
Oh, I totally would have.
Mhm.
Completely would have.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not gonna play this be ugly game.
So yeah, you can roll as many hit dice as you wish.
Alrighty.
Seeing
Maneuver somewhere safe.
the scene, Lissel's just gonna be like, oh, what happened to you?
Spend 3.
Alright. Well, to be fair, remember, each die adds your con modifier, so that's 2
Yeah.
plus 3 plus 5. So, that's 10. You go back? Don't know why this
Downside
one-
of not having much con.
Yeah. Alright, I mean, to be fair, you did roll at least good for your health anyways. But yeah, so...
True,
Yeah.
I am the tanky bard.
Yeah, Midir, it like I said, is looking a bit rough as you guys get there. I think Lysil could have also taken a short rest since, he wasn't doing too much after his escapades in case he lost any health. Actually, no, he didn't. I remember he climbed down proper. So yeah, it's fine for now. As y'all are able to do what you do, you can roleplay or talk as you'd like.
Well, dear, what happened to you?
Where's Enoch?
This is the side effect of getting that vial of blood for Enoch. Our diminutive little sociopath decided to see himself inside the keep, so we do kind of have a man on the inside, but I've noticed he has a penchant for teleporting. I'm not sure if we should count on him for too terrible much.
Counting on Enoch is not a very solid strategy, I've noticed. So,
Either way, he served his purpose of being a distraction, and I may have psychologically tormented some of the guards when they came out to collect flowers he needed for his paint. They said something about being a very horny and violent deer. I don't know, it amused me.
He's gonna paint inside the keep.
Oh yes, he said something about painting a mural on one of their walls.
Nobody look at it when we go in. Just saying.
To be fair, as I was running away after I killed someone, there was a very, very great deal of screaming and something about a Wendigo. I think we might have done a little more psychological torture than intended, but it's comedy gold, so I don't quite care.
I think we can work this into our favor.
I agree.
Where there's a will, there's a way. So we might have to tweak our original plan a little bit, because again, we did leave the madman unsupervised, and painting apparently some sort of nightmare abomination.
Well, let's see what he has
Most
got
likely.
in our absence then.
It depends on how good it comes out. It depends on how good his art comes out. Sometimes it drives you a little insane when you look at it. That's all.
Well, after safely traveling with you guys for a few weeks now, I can definitely say just being in your presence is a little maddening. And I don't mean that as an insult, darling. I mean that as in we are all, at least in one way, shape, or form, a little bit unhinged.
Hmm.
Most everybody's mad here.
Most everyone is mad here.
Lysil, take 1d4 psychic damage.
What? Why?
Because everybody's mad
puns.
here.
I'm just quoting the Cheshire Cat. What
Exactly.
the hell?
Yes, but you're not currently mad, so you take psychic damage for
Exactly.
quoting the madman.
You fool. You invoked the eldritch name of the Cheshire Cat, or his words. Therefore, you take the psychic damage. No, you don't. Don't worry.
I already did it. God.
Yes,
Well,
because
in that
this.
case, you need to make it 1d20 for believing Rune's bullshittery.
We have discussed extensively that we both need to take everything he says as a joke and as
Yeah,
Word
usually
of
I'm
law.
not gonna throw random damage at you for a joke.
He'll just take your shit away.
Yeah, I'll just take away every single one of your magic items just because I want to.
What magic items?
magic items.
Specifically takes Henna's loot away
like
because
the
of a joke Kyler makes.
Doesn't punish me.
Don't you touch my loot.
Punish him.
I feel like if I ever took Henna's loot, both Henna and Amy would reach through the screen to start choking me.
Would manifest Henna just to choke you for taking the tiny sociopathic toddler's loot.
The
Uh-huh.
sociopathic butlers.
But we might have to tweak our planning just slightly to accommodate the fact that we have no idea what the hell is going on inside this keep.
I'm sure whatever Enoch did was worth it. I trust him.
That's the only reason I allowed him to come along. Stealth missions usually work better when there's not a lot of people. And as I'm sure you can plainly see, it didn't stay all that stealthy.
Apparently not. But I guess we should head back and
may
see what's
have-
going on.
I may have gotten one of the guards to come out into the woods by himself by sounding like a Wendigo calling out his name, and then cooked him alive in his armor. But I got that vial of blood for the madman, so he can do whatever the hell he's going to do with it.
Wonderful.
Worth it.
So we might be on a bit of a time crunch, but it could also be really fun to torture these people just by fucking with them.
All guards are bastard. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, we can just sort of take the time to turn the entire guard's keep against the captain that we need to remove from his position of power.
That would be hilarious.
I agree, it would be fun to make his entire garrison turn on him. We should get a man on the inside. Start having him go around spreading rumors that he's against them. Start providing proof of that, or maybe like he's trying to run away from something.
Oh, that will be simple enough.
As long as he's mostly sane to give me information later, I really don't care what we do to anyone on that keep.
Oh no, love, that's the best part. We drive everybody else against him so they don't help him, or they'll kill each other. Either way, it's amusing for me. And then once we get our hands on him, we let you interrogate him. And then you and I and anybody else who wants to help will just sit there and drive him mad, leave him alive, and paint the entire massacre of this garrison at his feet, so he takes the fall for our crimes.
I like the sound of that.
I did think it was a beautiful bit of thought work on my end. Only the bits that I contributed.
Alright. So where are you all going now? Or what are you all doing now?
We should start heading back towards the keep, because we're still under the impression that Enoch's in there. So we will have to know what's happening.
That and it would be wise to stay close to our target.
Mm-hmm.
That way we can be sure he doesn't get away.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Alfred, you've been listening in on this conversation from while perched up in a nearby tree.
Okay, well, if that's the case, as you're all talking, you'll just suddenly notice a very small little winged creature fly down. And who might you all be?
Lucille's gonna look at it and just be like, did that bird just talk?
Does that really surprise you, Lai? We have seen a man shapeshift by casting spells without actually casting a shapeshifting spell.
Well, yes, that is true, but for it to be unrelated, well, I can't even say that it's unrelated. Never mind, continue.
Oh, come now. It shouldn't be too much of a surprise. The world's full of many mysterious and wonderful objects, like myself.
You're
Now,
an object? I thought you were a creature.
we're all objects on some level, are we not? It
I
just
try to
depends on
strive
how you
not
use
to be
them.
someone else's object, but
I see. Well, I couldn't help but overhear you have some sort of beef with this garrison up ahead. I also
our
couldn't help but...
diminutive friend here seems to think he might have information.
Well, as luck would have it, I have quite the grudge against the commander and some of their peons inside. I believe I might be of some assistance, should you need it.
Well, that would be wonderful to have someone help our colorful friend here sneak his way inside.
I have many talents and methods to use.
I mean, the more
It's
the merrier
only-
in my eyes.
It's only a question of how useful you all will be in the process. My plans will go on whether you're here or not.
Leo's gonna go and put Ta in front of the owl and just see what happens.
You
I like
see,
how you've done the Todd
you
test
see
for everyone
Todd-
but Nadir.
you
I
see,
also want to say that on this dapper owl, he's kind of in like a little dress suit sort of thing that he can use when he's flying, and there's also a smaller owl on his shoulder.
Smaller owl.
yes, the circle of life. But you put Ta in front of this individual, and Ta can't really hiss the same way he could before, but you definitely hear like a negative reaction coming from Ta. But negative in the sense of like, from what you gauge, Ta's like, I get bad vibes, but I don't believe completely. Like, I get bad vibes generally, I don't believe against you. Kind of hissing.
How cute.
Leo's actively at this point just like waiting for Ta to like open its mouth and just take a bite.
Ta hasn't taken a bite yet. The best way to put it is that that Taw's just like very grumpy. He's sort of like guard dog mode. Like, hey, what do you want with this with like the person I like? What do you want with them?
Leo's gonna pick Taw up and then just retreat back while glaring at the owl.
All right.
Adorable. Now, if you aren't too busy, we should get to a location near the garrison, should you truly wish to help me sow some discord inside.
That does sound like a party.
Charming.
Look, I don't know what your plans are or what you intend to do, but I need information from the captain in there.
Oh, well, then our goals align in some ways. I simply wish to cause the captain a great deal of discomfort for the crimes he has wrought upon me in the past.
As long as I get my information first. Alright.
Wonderful, then we have a deal. Now I must warn you, I've been watching over this place for a few days. The unpleasant one has already left the premise, taking a few of the guards with him.
Well, it's not like we didn't expect that diminutive madman would disappear.
Well, he took guards with him, that's good.
The Taw test is more accurate than insight. Oh. God, you got me to cackle.
So, should we just, I imagine Alfred has some sort of off-site base near the place, since it has been established that he has been staking this place for a few days.
Sorry, what was that, Magnus?
I imagine Alfred would have some sort of off-site little camping location near the base.
Yeah, probably not too far away, about an hour's journey from the base.
Yeah. He'll kind of lead the group back there, tentatively.
Alright.
Making sure there are no traitors amongst the group, of course.
Roll an insight, why not?
Alfred's first roll, what'll it be?
15.
15, not bad.
From what you can gauge from your limited interactions with them, your goals do align with them for the moment, and none of them seem the rat type. One of them seems to be some kind of light-stepping individual, possibly some kind of criminal background or whatnot. The other seems was the one who seemed and blatantly said out loud their plans, so they seem definitely into illegal activity, along with the individual with the very bright coat and mask and book at their hip. They only seem interested in talking to this captain, so they have vested interest. And the only person that you get maybe if you vibes on is the Wood Elven one, who seems to mistrust you, but that can always be dealt with at a later point.
Can always be done.
Speaking of the Wood Elven, can I attempt to gather some feathers or something from Alfred?
Stealthily, I assume.
I mean, if they fall off behind Alfred, he won't go back to collect them, but he's not going to let you take them.
Fair.
Theoretically, how many feathers would be needed?
For what? Oh, for the thing. I'd say 5.
Cool. How often do owls shed?
I don't know, but I'll say roll a
Surprisingly often.
I'll say roll a D100 to see what the results are in terms of if he sheds or not and how much he sheds on the way
Roll that or
to.
If,
Alana can roll that.
If he does, what's that?
I said, Alana, you can roll a D100.
Yeah, and I'm letting you know ahead of time. If he doesn't shed, I'm going to pluck them. Would that be a sleight of hand or a stealth, or what would that be?
Well, let's just see if he does shed or not.
38.
38. At least one feather falls off, like, due to shedding on the way there. I will say either stealth or sleight of hand from Leah.
Yeah, that's gonna be stealth, sleight of hand.
Alfred.
Oh, sorry. That's
Alfred,
an 18.
That's an 18. Alfred, roll a perception check to see if you notice your feather falling off.
Nice.
Do not. So you have at least 1 out of 5 before you have at least the necessary physical components to it. You still have to like do the other parts to make it work.
What other parts?
It requires a ritual and not too many not too much material, but a little bit of material and.
Okay, just message me, because I thought it was just like these straw dolls plus body parts.
No, I'll message that to you later, like once I have a chance. But yeah,
well,
so eventually Alfred takes you to the camp he has set up with a little tent pitched up and a small little bonfire that's not lit at the moment.
Alright, now that we're in a more secure location, what do you know about this garrison so far?
Not a lot. I might have psychologically traumatized a few of them, and I killed one of the guards.
Yes, I witnessed that. It definitely threw some wrenches in my current plans, but we can make it work so long as we're clever about it.
I just think it would be fun to psychologically fuck with them.
So, to begin, I can let you in on what I know about the place. He'll kind of draw in the dirt the basic layout that he knows of the place. Can you take us to the overhead map, Ren, we saw before?
Sure.
Also, what information does Alfred have about this place so far? I know you said I've been casing it for a few days. I've got, I can fly and I've got a familiar, so I imagine I can get general knowledge.
I was going to say, the problem is that at least during daytime, where you'd have more vision, you realized it might be best to not, because they do have the lookout towers and if you wanted to be able to like get detailed things during the day, you'd have to fly close enough to the ground that they would be able to see you, and that would cause your plans to become more complicated.
Thinking more like I'd send my familiar out to get some tentative information in that context.
Yeah, with your familiar, you are able to, from what you've gathered that the captain of the garrison has been in contact with some kind of mage recently, and they seem to have some kind of business relationship going on. From what you've seen, the mage has not left the premises. The soldiers themselves tend to, if not interacting with or if the captain doesn't run drills every few days or so, they tend to get a little lax and tend to slip up from time to time in terms of like nodding off during a watch, or sort of wandering off, or like getting into a sparring match and losing track of time kind of thing. So their concentration over the course of a few days, it tends to get weakened if the captain has ends up forgetting to, or purposefully not running drills.
Gotcha. What about, like, numbers? Do I have a basic sense of the number of people stationed here?
I'll say roll me a perception check. Just post-mortem.
21.
Well, ironically enough, yes, you are able to understand their exact numbers. You know that there is 20... Sorry, give me a sec. There's 24 normal soldiers, but 6 of them disappeared with the stranger one. So that leaves, the 18 that are left. Along with the captain himself, and as I stated before, the wizard or the mage who entered the premises but has not left as of yet. Another thing you have learned from your lookabouts is the fact that the captain is very poignant in teaching the soldiers ambush tactics and guerrilla warfare. And you overheard at one point one of the soldiers mention some kind of special item that the captain has that tends to make him harder to be noticed.
Okay, that's more than I thought I'd get, so cool.
Roll a 21 for perception.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so Alfred divulges this information to all of you as you are all sort of talking at his camp. You also know what general rotation times they have. They usually change shifts for the towers and also who's by the gate every 3 hours. So yeah. You're all free to interact as you like with this information.
Okay. And put in chat what we know. So knowing that, that means I guess we need to be really careful when we're around the premise that there could just be soldiers hiding in the bushes, sort of thing. The captain's unlikely to just go outside and wait in a bush, so I think we have to worry less about that, but be cautious when inside, one way or the other. Does Alfred know if they've trained within the past few days, or were they scheduled to train and got interrupted by Enoch?
They were scheduled to, from what you can only assume, you heard something about drills that were supposed to happen tomorrow. With the incident that happened between Enoch and Midir, you aren't sure exactly how that scheduling is now going to happen due to a few of their people being either attacked or disappearing.
We got 20 total, including the wizard. We don't know who the wizard is or what they're capable of, which is worrying. Although they could very well just be trapped inside the dungeon for all we know. But we should probably not assume that.
So it seems like the best time to get Lysel in would be during or just before a shift change.
For sure.
It would be the wise decision.
So it's good that you know when that happens.
It would be the best option because that would cover any sort of strange quirks that he might have to cover up. Just say, oh, I just had a long shift, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
So, to start, I'm just going to post we can talk this out. This is probably going to need a lot.
Can I simply just say, holy shit?
Gotta love stealth missions.
Guys, I started with a stealthy character.
Yeah.
Enoch is my second character by all
Oh yeah, no. Believe me when I say Magnus is very good at what he does, and what he does is generally plan shit out.
Oh wow.
So, our first step is just keep that instability going. They have been rattled due to Enoch. We can't let them figure out what's going on to a great extent.
Yeah. I will
Getting
say,
Lysel in would definitely be best, like you said, like right before a shift change. We just need to make sure that we are on point. It is likely, guard's going to be high alert right now due to the Enoch stuff, so it'll be harder, but also the best time. What were you saying?
No, I was gonna say, I will say that one of the, I guess, structures within the compound is from what you're familiar seeing, is a break room. The other is the horse stable. And the third one is the actual, the actual structure itself that from what you're aware, it's only 1 story tall, and you've seen like all 26-ish people, like before the attack, all 26-ish people going in and out of there, so you can only assume that there might be some kind of underground section to it, or it's bigger on the inside than you are aware.
Best to assume there's a basement then.
That's the only thing you can really gauge, because you weren't able to get into the main compound or the main structure itself, or at least you're familiar, wasn't?
Yeah, that's fine. I imagine my familiar would probably just come sit in these trees out in the open and just catch whatever it could before coming back and
yeah, I'd say you're also aware that the captain is not heavily, but at least tends to err on the side of caution from what you've heard and seen, like, through your scouting. He does seem to be aware of magical capabilities. He doesn't seem... He seems experienced, having dealt with different types of enemies, including those of the magical variety, so he, from what you heard, has talked about, like during the drills, he's talked about, if you face like an evocationist or like an abjurationist, blah blah blah. He does seem to be at least somewhat understanding the different schools of magic. He doesn't seem to be a practitioner from what you're aware, but he definitely seems to have a healthy understanding.
Sure. It doesn't matter too much if he understands it. We're trying to get his soldiers to be the ones involved, mainly with the magic stuff, and
the soldiers are the targets for the spells.
Yeah, but
yeah.
But what I mean is that he has, like, during the drills, mentioned that to his soldiers time and time again. So unless they have the memory of a goldfish, then for the most part you can assume that they have at least a baseline understanding of the different schools of magic and what their somewhat functions are.
That's fine. It doesn't change too much from what I've already been thinking. Even if they understand magic is real, it's harder to distinguish it on the spot unless they get up close, which is not the ideal situation. Until the end, we can't chat. We can't cast a ton of like charm-related spells until right at the end of the
till when you
thing.
actually invade.
Yeah, until we are literally inside, we cannot cast a single charm-related spell because, with very few exceptions, because almost all of those they understand right afterwards that they've been charmed, and that ruins everything.
Yeah, so all I'm getting at is, long story short, they're not completely inept.
Yes, that was already assumed to some extent. It would have been great if they were.
It would have made our lives so much easier if they were.
So here's my thought as to what needs to go down at the start here. They've just had 6 people go missing. They're on edge, most likely. They're trying to figure out what the hell happened.
They also had a dead body in the forest.
The dead body's also there, but the fact that they lost 7 people in the span of like a minute is something that probably just
over the course
generally causes a bit of disturbance among the ranks.
Yeah, over the course of like 10-15 minutes, 7 people disappeared. Like, one of them was presumed murdered, the other 6 just disappeared, so you can definitely tell that they're off their footing right now. Like, you left a few minutes after after Enoch disappeared and from when the initial screamings happened from in the forest. So you can tell you saw them immediately starting to react, and immediately just before you left you saw them starting to make defensive plans. You weren't able to catch it because you were more intrigued about involving yourself with these individuals who seem to have involved themselves with your prey.
Okay. Now here's a question related to magic.
Yeah.
Can I lower the DC of a certain spell?
I'd say no. Or, yeah, I'd say no. Unfortunately not.
So I can't make it easier to see through something?
No. No, I mean, if you're talking about, like, illusion magic or disguises, if the creature already knows, like, if you give the creature a heads up, they'll be able to see through it.
No. Okay, here's my specific thought here. I have illusionary script.
Yeah.
I want to write a message onto a piece of paper, then use illusory script to mask it in some way, but I want to make it a really low DC to see through it. Essentially making the spell worse.
He's trying to set up a note and make it look like it was magically disguised, and he's probably going to try to forge it to be from the commander.
Not necessarily from the commander. What I want it to be is just like, I want a note that basically says, have you and your friends ready for, we're coming in the next 4 days. Like, super vague like that.
Sure, but then why do you want to lower the DC so that it looks fake?
So somebody can see through it. It's hard to see through if it's a DC of 16. Doesn't it seem a little more realistic if something's hidden and suddenly they can see through it?
So the hidden message is that we're going to be coming in 4 days.
So like it would, over the top, it would look either like a blank sheet of paper, some sort of like inscripted nonsense, something that's just really like it's obvious this isn't supposed to be this, so you want to look further into it.
Okay, you want to make it look weird. I'll say sure, yeah, you can play around with your magic enough to essentially make the illusion weak enough that any Joe Schmo could see through it, or at least notice it.
My thought here is, the first thing we can do is if we set up right after a guard change, if Leah casts invisibility on Alfred, it shouldn't be too hard for Alfred to fly over the wall into a nearby tree, where hopefully at the guard change he can then use Major Illusion to have like basically a vision of the captain sitting over here talking into nothing, or just like talking into the void back behind this section of building, and then hopefully the guards see this and think it's a little odd, and behind will be left a little sheet of paper, and all it'll say is, have you and your men ready for the next 4 days, or something along those lines. Have you and your men ready? We're arriving in 4 days. The fact that it's disguised as something else gives it a little more credibility to being something nefarious and shady. In the event it gets taken to the captain, that still kind of leads him to think somebody inside is not genuine, so that still goes towards our plan, just differently. Everyone, group exercise.
To me.
I mean, I like it.
That's fine.
Pretty sure Amy's just down for whatever plan ends with the captain kneeling before you all.
We're trying here.
He needs to kneel for his execution, of course.
No, he needs to give me information and then kneel for his execution.
I mean, he'll kneel to give you information and simultaneously kneel for his execution.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we do also want to leave him alive but insane, so that way we have a patsy for our crimes.
Sure.
Just tells him to lay down on the ground, muttering nonsense for 8 hours.
First, we have to get into that position, which is a task in and of itself.
It is.
So that's my thought on kind of starting the descent between the guard and the captain. There's not too much that can go wrong there. If the guards... My thought is, like, the captain will literally just walk behind this building once it's done and just disappear. Obviously, illusion. But given that he already has stealth capabilities, that doesn't completely make no sense. So that plays into it just a bit, as if he's sneaking around doing odd things. And hopefully after that, Alfred can just fly out on his own during the guard shift, or wait until the next guard shift to leave, one or the other. Outside of that, I don't know of much else we can do right now, because they're going to be on such high alerts that it's going to be a little difficult to get close without potentially being spotted.
Well, see, what the three bards can do from the woods is we can also give them a wonderful performance by making strange animal sounds, screams of pain, and just keep them perpetually awake and on edge. We can work in shifts on our end.
But at the same time, we have to be a little careful about them thinking it's an outside force and not an inside force. The outside force, they can all get together.
We just want the outside force to get them to think that they're surrounded and just not want to leave. Let them think that their safe place is the barracks and the garrison.
To an extent. We can make that work. It's just, we need to be real careful that it has to work hand in hand, that they don't trust each other and they're trapped inside, not
exactly.
They think there's something outside and they need to fortify to beat it out.
That's why we have both of them working simultaneously. Lysel and anybody who gets inside, who can whisper thoughts to people, should sit there and sow dissent. And everybody outside, who's good at performing, makes the monster noises.
What's the best... Would Alfred know the best place to potentially take out a guard and replace them with Lysel? I'd assume it would probably be back in the back or back behind the horse stables in some manner.
An archer tower would also probably work, because it's very difficult to see the archers from inside the ground area.
That assumes there's only one archer in it, though.
That is true, but you've also been staking the place out, so you know if there's only one archer, if there's more than one. So
you
with
know
what
that
I know
there...
of military tactics,
yeah,
only
I was
having
about to say, Alfred, You know that there are 3 towers, and usually during watches, there's only one person in each archer tower.
They're rather short-handed.
That would be true. There's 4 archer towers, so that would mean
have you seen this
6
economy?
people. 6 people would have to be on duty at all times between the archer towers and the front gate, which
And they
leaves
rotate people
14
every 3
more
hours.
to wander through the barracks. They probably have at least 4 or 5 going throughout the inner side of the barracks, especially when they're on guard like now, leaving the rest inside.
But they also always had those 2 on the outside, and they had 2 more on the inside of the door when we showed up in the middle of the day. And if they rotate every 4 hours, that doesn't leave them a whole lot of time to do training and such. So they're probably also in the process of starting to slip a little bit.
Perhaps. We can. I think the archer tower in that case would be the optimal place to replace. Probably go to the back one back here, where it's also kind of obscured by the buildings, so that there's less places.
Oh no, I only have a black screen.
Put out your own token, and you can drag it around to look.
How do?
We can pull out our own tokens? What?
No, we could do that either.
Into your journal, there should be a characters tab. Then click on your name and drag it onto the screen.
There's nothing in my journal.
That's on Rune.
Yeah.
Oh, look there!
The character token I have is Drenger still. Oh, look, it's a tiny little Lauren.
I can see now.
So for day 1 here, are we wanting to do Lysel as soon as possible here first night, or do we want to wait until the second?
We probably should put Lysel in there first night so he can begin the process of sowing discord. But he can't be very heavy-handed with it. It needs to be, hey, I overheard this. I don't trust this person anymore.
Really play on the wizard in that case.
Yeah.
Like really...
Hey, I heard from the wizard that this is going on. I don't trust the captain anymore because the wizard said this.
No, I'm saying don't trust the wizard and don't trust the captain's judgment based on that.
The wizard's manipulating the captain into running away.
That could be... The general idea there would just be like, we don't know who the wizard is, and we're judging the captain's character right now based on the fact that he's allowing this guy to stay in here. We have a wizard in here. We just had 7 people mysteriously murdered or disappeared. How do we know it's not the wizard? It can be any number of that kind of thing. Just really so discontent about the captain, and if all goes well with the note, it won't be delivered to the captain and further amplify that message. If the note is delivered to the captain, then he may begin distrusting his own subordinates to an extent that further alienates the masses.
Either way, we win.
Yes.
So what do you like?
I gotta say, I like plotting Magnus way more than Enoch Magnus.
To be fair, plotting Magnus is normal Magnus. Enoch Magnus is what he wanted to play, and I allowed.
Enoch Madness is more fun, usually. I love plotting, but it's...
I'm having so much fun with plotting Magnus.
No, here's the thing. That's why I said, like, Magnus is... Like, in our other game, he is the ideas guy. He is the planner. Which is why I usually allow him to do bullshit with Enoch, because he's played the planner long enough, and he gets to play the chaotic one now.
So,
pretty chaotic.
I mean, chaotic, yeah, generally, but not Enoch level of chaotic, which is what he was aiming for. But yeah. So, you guys have been plotting for, I'd say, 2 hours now, between yourself and your new contact, Alfred. What would you all like to do?
To go see if I can find a good spot opposite from where we're going to be implanting Lysel, and maybe start making like cries for help, trying to get people to come to that side of the post.
Ben made up.
Alright, which side and which, I guess, area will you attempt to be planting Lysel?
I assume we're probably going to do it in this back right-hand corner, because there seems to be a lot of building cover as well, so it can really only be seen from really two locations
So you wanna,
clearly.
Yeah, so you want to, like, do it somewhere over here? Like, by this, third tower?
Yeah, where I'm pinging red over here is where I'm thinking is where we want to plant Lysel.
That's fair.
It seems to be a decent location.
I'm not even.
You know what? Give me a sec. I'll make this easier for everybody.
Removing the darkness.
Yeah, pretty much. There we go. You should be able to see everything now. But yeah.
To be fair. If I have a game.
So there's a little question on what kind of timing we want to do here.
We probably need to have some pretty precise timing.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know why it won't let me move things that I'm drawing.
But that's also part of why I'm going to try to convince Henna to join me, and we're going to go provide a distraction.
You'll need to do it really... I would definitely stick to animal noises and try to not do, like, somebody saying help me and whatnot. Just because we don't want to...
I was thinking, like, more monstrous sounds. Try to make them really think that there might be an angry Wendigo in the forest. If it comes off as a horny Wendigo, that's even more comedy, though.
If we keep it to animal noises, there's still plausible deniability that it could be some strange creature and not a malevolent human force. So I think that's going to be the better shout there. And are these, Rune, are these walls like the kind of walls you can walk on, or is it just walls and then 4 towers?
Which walls are you talking about?
Like the main outer wall.
Oh, the main
they
outer wall,
look
yeah,
like just
they're
thin walls.
Yeah, they're about 5 feet wide, so you can walk on them.
Okay, so you can patrol around the perimeter like that.
Well, no, like there's not a walkway, so it's not like that kind of walking, but it's wide enough that you can walk on it, but generally it is not one of those towers where you walk along the outer perimeter.
That actually makes it better. In that case, really,
yeah, I'll
just
also...
other guard towers the only place that should be able to see.
Yeah, I'll let you know that the actual walls for the perimeter itself are about 40 feet tall, and the towers are about 60 feet tall.
That makes this so much better, because that does mean that when we start doing our distraction, which, if they're already on high alert, probably means that we're going to have to start making those noises and then retreat farther into the woods. But that means that we'll get a foot-based response, not people walking to the edge of the wall trying to look and see what's making that noise, except for the other guards in the towers. But we have the cover of trees.
It can be said you need to be a little cautious about leaving footsteps if you're going to do that.
Well, of course.
Yeah, just try and not leave tracks. That way they can't link it back to somebody doing something weird. Or find a way to make some weird tracks with some sort of, wear kind of weird shoes carved out of tree bark or something.
Replace the soles of our shoes with something that we've whittled animal footprints into.
Or just, pack straw onto the bottom of your foot or whatever it takes, just so it doesn't look like a person was there. It's harder to distinguish or misleading. We just can't let them know that people are involved in fucking with them from the outside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as far as the set of events that need to go down, should Alfred do the illusion first, Or should we maybe try and get Lysel in first, and then do the illusion?
Remind me what the illusion he was going to do is again?
It's literally just the guard captain standing there, like, whispering into the corner, and then kind of disappearing behind it as somebody notices him.
We should get Lysel in first, that way Lysel could be the one to point it out. It gives us a little bit more edge with that. This person can poke and prod and tear apart the sanity.
So long as there's other people there. I don't want Lysel to be the linchpin on it all, because if he's discovered immediately, then it all falls apart, and then we can't even save him after that.
What the smart step to do would be, hey, I'm about to have a shift, can you go see what the captain was doing in that corner? Just in case someone doesn't notice it right away.
Should have a sledge across the floor.
What now?
More of like a plan B setup. In case none of the other actual people there notice the shenanigans.
I almost feel like we shouldn't have Lysel involved at all with the illusion, because then it would be two completely unrelated events of Lysel saying these things and someone else seeing the captain, quote unquote, doing this.
Yeah, true. I get what he's saying. Like, we can have, if Lysel points out, like, I saw the captain over in the corner. Could you guys go ask him if we need to X, Y, or Z? And that's just fair. But
kind of like having something there for backup in case it's not noticed right away.
At the same time, we need to be a little careful because that gets rid of a little bit of the mystery. Because if we can't have the captain obviously talk to anyone else, because then the illusion could quickly fall apart. Instead, it needs to be more of a, it needs to be more of a, he's doing his thing, he walks behind the corner and he's gone. And all that's left there appears to be a little crumpled piece of paper.
True. I still think we should have Lysel at least keep an eye on it to make sure that it does get found.
I feel like it has to get found at one point.
True, but we do only have a handful of days to get this done. We want it to be expedient.
Yes.
Having a backup would also help.
Yes, if it goes undiscovered for too long, then Lysel could expedite the process, but he definitely can't draw too much attention to himself in any capacity. As if the guard captain, especially, we are putting together something where they will be suspecting each other, and there is a person who is not who they say they are among them. So
this is an entire game. No. You don't understand. This is an entire game of Among Us. We did this. Matt, this is called Samus, you have this.
Yeah, this is literally a game of Among Us.
No, don't use that example. Y'all saw what happened the one time I got imposter.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. You're playing someone who's an imposter all the time. This is gonna go so well. We know exactly what's gonna happen. Luckily, Rose doesn't have a character here, so that she doesn't die first.
That was shady.
What was shady?
That was shady, Rune.
What was
that was shady.
I don't feel confident in pulling this off.
I'm suddenly concerned.
What? No, I mean legitimately. I mean, like it's just a joke of like, oh yeah, if they suspected an imposter among them, it's just like somehow, you know, whatever character you brought in, if they happen to also be with Lysel, they just were picked out first and then just murdered.
Great for you, Rose.
All I know is that we know
they have a proposition for you, Rose.
They have a proposition for me now.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. We already, at least some of us already know how this entire thing goes, with Samus being the imposter.
Yeah, I really Yeah, I can't.
True.
Now, see, if I were going in as the imposter, nobody would suspect me. But if I were going in as an innocent person, I'd immediately be accused of being the imposter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's also how that went down.
Sibling, you want to take control of Lasil for a little bit?
You guys switch characters. It's called Samus is now Midir and Kyler is now.
Hey, at least you haven't been instantly killed 5 times.
Yeah.
5 times.
Look,
don't worry. Even if you're caught, Lasil, you still play into the narrative, so it's okay.
Look, worst case scenario, you know, if Lasil gets caught, he just pins it on somebody at random.
Yeah, the whole thing is, if you get caught, you need to keep your mouth shut on every occasion and just say you won't rat out your friends. That's all you need to say, and that still plays perfectly into what we're doing. Turning failure into success is the name of the game here in every scenario. Okay, so here's a thought. Between the first guard shift of the night, we do the illusion first. So if we have Leah, if you don't mind casting invisibility on Alfred so he can get into position inside like this big tree over here, just perched up in it, ready to cast his illusion. And basically as this guard shift ends, well, I need to be a little careful because this guy can't see it from the other side. Should take him longer to get over there though. Essentially, they just see the captain right here, briefly talking, looking around suspiciously, walk around the corner, no longer there, leaving just a crumpled up piece of paper in the process. After they leave, or whenever they're in a position where they can't see, Alfred flies off before the next guard shift is fully in place, so that he doesn't get caught inside. Then, right before the next guard shift ends, we can put into place the Lysil plan and replace whoever's here with Lysil. It's gonna be a little hard to keep him alive because it's gonna be hard to get him off the tower without anyone else noticing, without killing him, because it's probably gonna involve a really long fall.
I can cast invisibility on 2 people at a third level, so I can cast invisibility on myself. That's a thing. Like, I can do both.
It might be useful.
That, we also have a wizard who, if we're pushing someone out of a tower, Featherfall.
Does she have Featherfall?
I do have Featherfall.
That is an option. So here's my thought. I can cast Silence. It creates a 40-foot sphere, or 40-foot diameter sphere of silence. It's not enough to cover the entire guard tower, but it can cover the bottom of it. If Lysil climbs up the tower and Alfred flies over, it can be a dual effort to basically push this guy off. And it would be best if he just wasn't able to make a noise afterwards. The tough part is making sure no one else can see it. I know this is the part where you're wanting to make noise, which draws their attention away, which does...
Well, wait, here's the other part, though. Silence you can have fixed onto an object, not just a location. So you could put it on the guard you're yeeting out of the tower's hat. And as he's falling, as long as he's still wearing that, he's in a bubble of silence.
And that's up to Rune, because technically it just says centered on a point, not a...
Well, yeah, what I was also going to say is not necessarily hard helping you, but it's on a point. So you can, if you're, depending on which direction you're pushing him out of, you can place it at any point on the wall or the actual thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the ground. It's just at a point. It could even be in the air.
Yeah, I know. I can literally make it to where nearly the whole tower is silenced so that nobody... Like, him hitting the ground won't be an issue as far as noise. Him falling off, we just need to decide where the point is so that, as if
We're trying to
Alfred
best calculate where
pushes
we
him-
won't hear a scream.
Yeah, we don't want anyone to hear a scream or a body hit the floor, or if it comes down to it, a fight. We need to be a little bit careful, because if we fight, are the walls illuminated from the outside? They have to be, right?
What do you mean? There's torches?
Like, are there torches or something on the outside of the wall so they can see on the ground?
No.
Are there patrols or anything as well on the
There
outside?
are generally patrols at night, but again, the whole thing's been thrown off, and from what you're aware, they seem to suspect some kind of very horny Wendigo, so you have no idea. Like, what they did threw the balance off so much that they're unpredictable at this moment.
We'd have to assume there's going to be patrols on the outside, so it's going to need to be done, and there'll be, at the very least, it would likely be groups of patrols and not single patrols, so it would probably come at
underfunded.
less intervals to some extent, but the whole point is we don't want to linger for too long down there. If the best possible scenario is we knock him out and we drag him off into the woods or carry him off into the woods, where Alfred can then do his best to read his mind, get all the necessary information so that Lysil doesn't look super suspicious before the next guard shift is up. Well, okay, this would be best done at the start of a guard shift then, not at the end, so that we can do all this information as he just stands up there and looks pretty. And then
for the most part, that's all he's going to have to do, but to give him the information he needs, we have to be back by the end of the guard shift.
Yeah, and that can be done by Alfred. Once again, if Leah can do one more invisibility on Alfred, he can literally relay it into his mind. So there's no noise created, and he just lets him know, hey, here's the duties you're supposed to be doing, here's the important info you probably should know, don't get caught, and leaves.
Don't be suspicious? No, don't be suspicious.
And technically, depending on how much time we're willing to do it, Alfred can cast silence as a ritual. I did not realize this.
I mean, that'd probably be the best option to signify the start. You'll just have to find some way to give the alert to the two distractions out front.
It only takes 11 minutes to ritual cast silence.
Doesn't matter that much because we aren't planning to do too much tonight, so I could just cast it as a normal spell slot as well. It just depends on what kind of timing we're looking at and how much we want to risk being seen. And then we also need, if I'm going... Rune, can you hold a concentration as you are invisible?
Yeah, you can. Like, unless you cast invisibility on yourself, for example, if Leah's casting invisibility on you, if you already are concentrating on a spell beforehand, then you can be invisible and concentrate. But if you cast a spell or make an attack roll while invisible, then the invisibility breaks.
Yeah, I thought Alfred and Lysil double team the guy, so Alfred kind of swoops down from above to knock him off as Lysil pulls him over. And then it just comes down to whether we want him to just fall to 60 feet and die in silence, or if we want if we would rather keep him alive and risk fighting him down below a short spell before trying to knock him unconscious and drag him away. We run a lot more risk.
Well, here's an idea. If instead of going to help with the distraction team, Henna went with that team, she can cast sleep on him as soon as he's on the ground. Knock him out.
That also is determined on how much hit points he has left.
Judging on the one that was beaten by Madir, it would probably take us... If we could each land an attack on him and do around 20 points of damage, we could get a sleep off. But that would come down... That would basically be a surprise round. Like, he hits the ground, and if we get a surprise round, and you hold asleep until the end of the surprise round, we might could pull that off without any muss or fuss. Also,
I mean, technically, he is a rogue, so he does get sneak attack damage.
yeah, I mean, if you want to stab him and then throw him off, that would work too. Need to be a little careful about leaving too much of a trail. I can't clean that up easily.
Well, you get sneak attack even for doing bludgeoning damage. So we could hand him like a club or something.
Well, no, you only get sneak. You can do sneak attack so long as you have finesse or light property.
Could he do sneak attack non-lethal? Like
Yeah, you
hit
can.
with the
You can do
butt of
sneak.
the weapon?
The only thing I say that you can't do non-lethally is magic. So you can do sneak attack non-lethal. You don't always have to resort to murder. You can just knock people out.
I mean, yeah, that'd be great, honestly.
That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to actually not murder a man right now.
If it
Unusual
literally
thing.
could be, if it could be this, like, Lysil comes up and kind of knocks him upside the head and pulls him, while Alfred kind of pushes his back over the wall so that he falls into the bubble of silence, and at the same time, it would literally just be the events that Leah would cast Featherfall on him as Henna follows up. So long as you're outside of the bubble of silence, you can cast sleep. We might can do that, and he'll just be asleep by the time he hits the ground. Bound gag him and then run. Run off into the forest. Let Alfred do his thing. He'll fly back and give the information to Lysil.
This sounds like a plan.
Okay.
I still don't feel confident in my capabilities.
You chose a changeling.
Not Lysil's. Mine. my ability to play Lysil.
Nah, fine. You'll do fine. Just have confidence in yourself, and if you don't have that, then you know what? Like I said, if you fail, I'll still make it work. Okay.
See, now we have someone here planning for when things go wrong, too.
What do you mean?
Instead of being the source of why it goes wrong.
The source of why it goes wrong.
What do you
There
mean?
shouldn't be too many rolls here that determine whether this plan works or fails. The only thing that could just absolutely botch it all is if we don't manage to get that guard off the roof in time. But we should
That is
get
the big one.
an advantage, more or less, since it's both Alfred and we're all invisible. There should be a lot of advantage in there so that we don't completely fuck it up.
And straight up, I was going to use one of my bardic inspirations on myself before we even completely headed out and just be like, don't be suspicious.
Yeah, you want
Yeah,
to be
and Henna can
completely
also
honest.
help with bardic inspirations in pretty much every situation there.
Yeah, to be completely honest, I blacked out for a majority of the conversation. All I know is something about Guard Tower, Silence, and Featherfall. That's partially due to the fact that, A, I want to remember as little of this as possible so that I'm not, metagaming in any way. And the other fact of that is I am just going to wait till you attempt to do what you do and see how it unfolds. Because it can go as easily as you are saying, or it could be a lot more complex, or it could fail instantly. We will have to see.
Which is why I'm giving Lysel the don't be suspicious dice.
Yeah, I know.
Be suspicious.
Yeah, no,
But in the
it's
night,
very good.
we're going to have at
Yeah, no,
least
it's-
3
The
different
guy set it up a few days ago.
guard shifts, I imagine. That would make up 9 hours, which would be more than enough.
I gotta go eat. I'll be back once.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna start. We should start with the first one, probably being the illusion, the first guard change, and then probably the third one be the one where we insert Lysel, because then there'll be a guard change where nothing happens, despite the fact that they might be looking for something to happen.
That does also sound pretty wise on that end.
That's completely fine. And Rune, what's the ultimate DM question? What's the weather?
At this exact moment, or like generally the last few days? Well,
Generally, like, what's it looked like over the day, and what's it look like right now? Are we cloudy? Are we clear? Big moon, no moon?
Right now it is somewhere late into the evening, so it's close to getting dark. The moon hasn't popped up yet. It's still late in. It's like heavy into the dusk, or becoming dusk soon. It has been relatively clear with patches of cloudiness over like 2 hours or around like noon to like 2 p.m. So yeah, for the most part, it's gonna be night soon. Which will limit visibility.
We just want to make sure we're waiting for the darkest moments to strike.
Yeah, I was gonna say, from what you're gauging and how you're looking at the clouds, I'll say roll me a nature check, one of you with advantage, to see how that sort of plays out.
I got it.
Sure.
And you can, if somebody wants to use a bardic inspiration, then go for it.
Can I give him guidance?
You can.
Alright, I'll give him guidance. I don't want to waste an inspiration right now.
That is a D4 additionally, right?
Yes.
That is a 19 on nature check.
Alright. From what you're gauging, somewhere around 10 to maybe midnight, somewhere around that range, it looks like some clouds are going to roll in that would block the moon and limit visibility.
Beautiful. I will definitely convey the clouds around midnight for the best chance to swap out Lysel.
Yeah, from what you're also gauging with the 19, it probably won't last longer than half an hour at most.
So we'll have a half-hour window around midnight to swap out Lysel.
Well, anywhere between 10 to midnight.
Well, yeah. You knew what I meant.
Yeah.
As long as we're ready at that point to do it, then all's well.
So before I send these two wonderful spellcasters off to go start fucking things up with their illusory scripts and their illusory mutterings, Rune, how does it feel to be the subject of the constant plotting of this group, since these are non-player characters?
What do you mean they're non-player characters?
I mean these guardsmen that are about to have their shit rocked by a group of murderous, sociopathic bards.
You do understand this solely hinges on if you ever fuck up even one roll. Well, not necessarily one roll, but if you fuck up enough that they basically either A, start disbelieving what's going on, or B, you get caught trying to sneak around. I feel as confident as the rolls will show. If you constantly roll well, then I might get a little. Then I might feel a little bad for these guys. If you roll middlingly or poorly, then I don't know. It really is a gamble, and these guys might catch you, and it might just be a situation of you might end up having to retreat, or it might just be an all-out brawl. Who knows?
All right, guys, you heard him say it. We're going to be using my Fey bullshittery against the counter-Fey bullshittery.
I wish Kitty was here.
I believe in you all.
But yeah, it is time for Leah and our new tiny owl friend to go start fucking shit up with illusions.
Also, Rune?
Yeah?
He's talking with
Can...
No, I'm fine at the moment, yeah?
Another little tidbit about the note. I want to pre-burn the edges to it a little bit.
Okay, that can be done easily
Just
enough.
burn bits and pieces of the note so that it's still legible before casting my illusory script on it.
Okay.
And we'll say, do I want should it be an encoded message so that it's just unreadable unless you beat the DC, or should it be something innocuous like a grocery list that's just a little bit out of place for what just happened?
I feel like coded would make it a little bit more suspicious and credible.
Agreed.
Okay, yeah. Then it'll just be a jumbled mess of encoded words. That'll be the overarching illusion, and if possible, I'd like to set the DC to around 10.
Sure. Fair. Alright, so I'll ask you to type out what the encoded message is and what the actual message is that they'll have to see through to notice.
When I say encoded, the word I'm looking for is encrypted.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
So
it's
more or less just a jumble of letters written across the...
Oh, okay, so it's sort of like a cipher kind of thing. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's basically... It looks kind of like just gibberish written on it. There's nothing super...
Alright, then at least write me the message that is actually hidden beneath the illusion. Basically, because I just need to know what this thing actually says, so that if and when somebody finds it, I can see how they'll react. I'll be back in a sec.
Boogie.
I mean, there's still some here on this.
I'm so excited.
I'm having so much fun, and we haven't even really done anything yet.
We haven't started. And I'm so yes.
Yeah, sorry, I know this has been a lot of me talking.
I'm enjoying plotting Magnus.
Mm-hmm.
This is fun for me. Then again, we did also have basically an entire day of unsupervised attention where we could talk about this.
Uh-huh.
I think the hard part's going to be Alfred getting out of here without being seen. That's going to be the only part that's a little bit...
I also feel like maybe we should make the animal noises more than just once.
I want to be careful about drawing them out too much.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that we should try and get them to come out and follow us. I'm saying that we shouldn't just only do it at the one point where we're actually trying to be a distraction. Because wouldn't that be weird if you just hear
over the course of days that we fuck with
You mean
these
over
animal noises?
I'm fine with that. I'm just talking about tonight, especially before we get Lysil in there. We don't want the outer guards to be more vigilant than they already are.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just saying that what I meant by that was we shouldn't just only do it when we switch him in. Because if you heard that, wouldn't that be weird? It happens precisely once. Wouldn't you just be like, maybe something happened during that?
Yeah, that's fine. If y'all want to figure out different places, we just need to be careful about the whole guerrilla tactics part. That signals to me that they could be, hiding in the woods in places, so we need to be equally as sneaky or sneakier every day past that point. We need to be really careful about what we're doing as far as being around the place and make sure we scout it out before we go anywhere. I can have my Alfred familiar going in and...
I would also like to point out for you guys that what you guys are doing is kind of guerrilla warfare, and the fact that they're trained in it, kind of signals they might figure out what you're doing.
Technically what we're doing is espionage.
Yeah, we're not doing guerrilla tactics. Guerrilla tactics is really more strike from the woods and retreat back into the woods. What we're doing is providing distraction, some psychological warfare, and quite a bit of espionage and deceit.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Listen,
over if they catch us and we don't manage to get rid of them.
Fair. Same thing.
We primarily need to just be really careful that they don't sneak up on
Put
us
two
at
and
any
two
point.
together.
Outside of that, I think we're okay.
We also need to make sure that they don't find Alfred's camp.
Ruin said that we're about an hour out, so that's quite a distance for them to immediately find. Might be smart to move
Speaking
it
from
from
the
day to day.
experience of someone who's been in the military and had to go on these kind of patrols, an hour out is usually about the point where you're turning around. So you're slowing down so you can kind of rest a little bit to turn around and go back to where you just left.
I mean, we can move from day to day. I don't think this is supposed to be a super special place for Alfred. This is just a place he found and has been posted.
Yeah, I'm just saying, we want to make sure that they can't find wherever we're posted up with everybody else for the rest of our experience.
I mean, just saying, if they do find the camp, what they're gonna find is
They're
three
not going to
bards.
get to report.
3 bards! You know what we are? We're a traveling group of musicians.
The only
Well,
only
three
thing I
bards
really
is
wish I
Leah.
had. Does anyone have
Yeah,
control
we
flame?
have the
No, I do not have that cantrip.
Is that a cantrip?
Yes.
So I have the Hat of Wizardry, so I can just use that.
We have Aaliyah.
Yeah, so if we could get rid of the fire, I imagine the guard tower is going to be lit up to some extent. It should be 120-foot range for control flames, and you should be able to just snuff out a certain amount or all of the fires. So it could be a case where, to prevent some of the other guard tower, or really just one of the other guard towers, from seeing anything suspicious going on, just have the flames go out for a second and then have Lysil relight them.
Well, I mean, if we could get me close enough, I have prestidigitation as well. But
We
But
need to
you're
figure
gonna be
out
on
how
the
many
other
people-
side.
Yeah, we
You're
need to
gonna be
figure
on
out
the
how
other
many
side.
people we're throwing up there.
All right. So, have you guys chosen your plan and figured out what you want to do?
oh yeah, we were waiting for you to come back so we could send out part 1 of the plan.
Yeah, no, that's what I just wanted to know. Like, if you've already decided on part 1. So, what are you?
think so.
Who and/or what is happening for part 1 of this?
So I think for part 1 of this, it's just going to be Alfred. Leah
And
needs
Leah.
to be
Alfred
close
and
enough.
Leah for the invisibility thing.
Yeah, Leah just needs to be close enough to give Alfred invisibility for getting into the base.
Mhm.
And then the plan is to fly into the large tree over next to the horse stable and wait there for
I assume this tree.
hopefully not too long. This should be right before a guard transfer.
Sure. I assume you mean this tree.
Yeah, and possibly if Henna could also come and give Alfred a bardic inspiration. I can't give those to myself, right? That's only
No,
to,
it's only another creature.
Yeah, if Henna could give Alfred a bardic inspiration, just in case, that would also help.
Go on.
So Leah casts invisibility on Alfred. Henna would give Alfred a bardic inspiration, and he would go take post up inside this tree a few minutes before the guards are supposed to come out.
Just to clarify, we're not casting invisibility on myself. We're just casting it on Alfred.
Not yet. You should not need invisibility. I would say keep try and stay hidden while in the forest, just in case there's a patrol outside sneaking through themselves. But you shouldn't need it. This is just Alfred flying over the wall into the tree and then using major image.
Alright, so I'm going to use a second level for invisibility then.
Alright.
Yeah, that's fine.
That lasts for an hour. Are you using it now, or are you gonna do it like at a later point?
Whenever
Wait,
Magnus
do it
tells me
when you
to.
get closer.
Okay. So, from what I'm hearing, Leah, Magnus, and Lysil are going by the fort.
No, it's Leah, Magnus, and Henna.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
Leah,
for
Magnus. and
just the first part, just Leah, Magnus, and Hannah.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, what time are you going? Around the time of the cloudy...
I would say we want to get there about maybe 10 to 15 minutes before the guard transfer, and then have Alfred get the buffs, and then arrive what should be about 7 or 8 minutes before the guard should be coming off the tower.
And to clarify, we don't intend to be doing this during the cloudy
Not this
time.
part.
10 to
Yeah,
15,
the cloudy time is later, and that's when we're inserting
The cloudy
Lysil.
time is Lysil, since that should be the noisier time.
And we want as much darkness and secrecy for that bit as we can get.
All right, so, yeah, I guess, are you
Wait,
going...
really quick. Just sorry, I just want to make this. Leah's going to make sure that she's at least lightly obscured wherever she is.
I'd say both of you just hide in the bush.
Yeah, just wanted to clarify that in case we get caught.
Henna's just gonna crouch in a bush.
Does she even
She's
have to
small
crouch?
enough.
No.
Probably
So-
not. She's small enough that she can just insert into bush.
Alright, so you guys are going to be watching for the next guard shift, or are you going to be watching for a while to see how long the guard shifts are happening?
How much time do we want to waste? If we wait here 3 hours for a guard shift to get an idea, we do risk missing the section for Lysil. I'm just gonna go on the assumption that the guard shift probably remains relatively similar, and they wouldn't completely upend their entire schedule. Regardless, they might just be more wary. Safe to you guys, or should we just wait 3 hours and make sure the guard shifts are the same? That'll only leave us 2 guard shifts before daylight, really.
Well, I feel like they probably wouldn't change their guard shifts all that much because that would be inserting more chaos into what's already going on for them, right?
Be my thought.
Hey,
Honestly,
adjusting
from what we've
character.
heard, they're
Okay.
understaffed. So,
Ju-
with my knowledge of actual military, they're not going to change their shift. They don't have the people to change their guard shifts around.
Just in character, Leah wants to get this done as quickly as possible. So,
Okay, then from what Alfred has already witnessed, he's gonna base it off that schedule.
I'm gonna... Sorry,
Agreed.
Alana, to clarify something, because time shifted and because I had to deal with the calendar and everything, you have, like, 6 weeks before the actual thing.
okay, time out, because we had a week and a half last session.
Yes, but, like I said,
He
because...
redid the calendar and saw you fucked stuff up.
Yeah. So you basically have an
Okay.
extra
You no
month.
longer
so,
have a time crunch.
So what it is, you have about 5.5 weeks.
All right. That changes almost everything then. I need... All right.
I mean, it changes stuff, yes and no. Like, you, from what I'm aware, you were still planning on going
It kind of just changes Leah's plain incentive and motive, but that's something I can figure out on my own. Just, yeah, let's get this done as quickly as possible.
Fair enough. Yeah, okay, so the 3 of you are making your way there. Just remind me, what are you doing immediately, like, as you get there and you see the actual fort itself? Like, often not too far away, maybe about a minute or 2 away.
Alfred would just, keep quiet, stay still, and don't be seen. I need some inspiration from the one over there, and I need you to make me unseen. And I assume this would be about, like I said, I want to get there with about 5 minutes left in that Bardic Inspiration. It should be about the time when they're crossing paths, ready to more or less ready to change shifts.
All right. I'll say roll me a perception to see how things are going from where you are.
Trying to think. You said we're about. Would it be possible to send Alfred up and just get a bird's eye view of things using his vision?
That's your choice.
I mean, we aren't too far away, then he'll at least go around the perimeter where I'm wanting to go and get a small picture of what's happening on the inside. He may not fly completely into the base, but just around the trees like an owl would. So long as it's within 100 meters, I can share his senses. So what am I getting based off that?
Okay, so you're not flying in directly into the base, but one, I want to know how high you're flying, and two, I want to know how close you are flying to the base.
I would say, how high are the walls again? You said they're like 40 feet, right?
40 feet for the walls, 60 feet for the towers.
I want to say Alfred's just like in the nearby trees, kind of up towards the tips of the trees, looking into the base. Every once in a while, maybe dip a little bit higher to get a view of the inside before going back down.
I was gonna say, for the trees that are near, like close enough to the base, like they chop down a decent amount of the trees that are directly near the walls. Any other trees are either too far or too short to look inside of the base itself, but you can at least see what's happening, depending on which side of the actual walls you want to look in from. Like, which side are you looking in from? From the far right
side that I'm
the
planning on infiltrating over here.
Okay, so you're gonna go from this side?
Yeah, so I'll, if there aren't that many trees, just have Alfred kind of probe around, not stick for too long anywhere, just kind of circle in, then dip out and go back into the forests.
Okay, yeah, you do notice that there are individuals in the towers at the very least. Also, roll me a stealth check.
Would be stealth check on my familiar, correct?
If you're using your familiar, then yes.
He gets... Yes, this is not Alfred, this is my familiar.
Yeah, I'm just making sure because I heard owl and I was like, did you mean the owl or Alfred? So I was like,
No, not Alfred. Owl.
Okay,
friend.
Owl friend. Okay, that's what fucked me up.
Okay. I'm like, surely it's not that inconspicuous. Like, I would understand if a suspicious owl was just staring them down.
Mm-hmm.
No, his familiar. I'm trying to use its senses to see what's inside.
Okay. Yeah, roll. Again, this is just to see if they notice it or not. Like, whether it's inconspicuous is a different thing. So yeah, the stealth check from your owl. Okay.
Oh, but it didn't have to be.
Yeah, roll me also a perception check from it.
Nat 20 on that perception check.
It starts.
Okay, what you do notice is, not to say going too far in or anything, you do hear the horses whinnying and neighing, and as you, like, fly around, you do notice, through your familiar's eyes, that they are tied up to some of the trees. Your little owl friend, familiar, also clocks two individuals walking the perimeter together. and 3
Outside or
individuals.
inside perimeter?
The outside. Walking together. And they seem to be doing checkpoints or at least check-ins at each of the towers. It takes them roughly about 7-ish rounds to get to complete like one side of the outside perimeter. And
When you said 7 rounds, are you talking about like combat rounds?
Yeah, combat rounds. Like it takes them essentially because it's roughly about like 210 feet on every side. So it takes them. They're walking at a moderate like 30 feet. While looking around. So
that would give us. I mean, that's 24 rounds. Is that right? 21 rounds to complete what we're doing.
21 rounds for the people that are outside on the outside perimeter of the walls, essentially to do a complete loop. So roughly about 2 minutes and like 6 seconds. And they seem to be looking around. Give me a sec. And there seems to be 3 individuals at each tower, 2 half orcs and a half elf, so they seem to have dark vision. And yeah, like I said, they're doing checkpoints at like when they're next to each tower, when they're in the middle of each tower, and so essentially it's usually like, let's say around here they do a check-in, around here they do a check-in, and then like back another check-in here, another check-in here, and like so on and so forth. So essentially the most the most I guess vulnerable time is usually when they're on the farther corner. And yeah, that's the only time that they have they do a check-in somewhere around here as well, but it seems like some of the times the guards are a little hard of hearing, or like they're like, what do you say, or like, are you okay, blah blah, like just double checking. So yeah, however you want to use that information. But unfortunately your little owl friend is unable to clock anyone else throughout the
I'm gonna guess that's nearly half of the base. We know where they are at least, because there should be 2 guards at the very front out here, whether I can see them or not.
I was
just
gonna say with your perception, there actually isn't.
No guards at the main gate. Interesting.
Nope. At least not on the outside. You can't tell if the inside, because from the angle that you're moving around at, you aren't able to see, but at least on the outside, there are no immediate guards on the outside.
Well, that's still 5 people. We know where they are. In that case, yeah. That doesn't change too much. The best place for Alfred to fly in then would be right here in the center, because that would be the limit of the vision for both of the limit of the vision for all the guard towers. And you said there were only 2, or there's 1 person in each tower, 3 total, right?
Yeah. From what you're able to clock, there is 1 person in each tower.
Okay, that's fine. So I'm just gonna wait for the opportunity. What I would know to be the guard changing time, wait until it's, like I said, give myself enough time to where I can fly into position and still have a little time remaining on the Bardic Inspiration, so that I don't.
All right, I'll say that normally you know that it takes 4 hours or so for the shift to change. Sorry, 3 hours. Every 3 hours they do a shift change. You notice after about 40 minutes of your little thing clocking stuff that they start to do a shift change immediately.
Now's the time. I need my invisibility and my inspiration.
Granted.
As I said
Also
before,
granted.
Fred's gonna fly over towards the center of the wall between the two towers and then try and kind of softly swoop into the tree.
Right.
Somewhere that's...
Roll me stealth at advantage, and I guess add a d6 and a d4.
Wait, what now?
I said stealth at advantage and add whatever dice you're using for bonuses.
Okay, what did I miss?
Yeah, not much. Still going through phase 1.
We're just starting.
We're still in step 1.
So that was...
Your part comes in step 2, so you still have time.
Oh, okay. I still have time to be nervous.
That's an 18.
Alright.
I'm gonna hold on to that 18.
Alright. Okay. So, as you decide to do this, you notice that the guards or the soldiers are, like, the one that's in this tower over here is waiting on the path over here for the one that was at the far right end to meet up. And they start walking, and as they're starting to walk, you try and gently swoop in. And yeah, sorry, give me a sec. I've just gotta release. That's where the horses are. As you slowly swoop in, you land on the branches gently as you can, only shaking it a little bit, and then you hear a quick of like a branch faintly snapping, and as the two guards are walking at like around here, you notice that one of them turns and says, "Oh, did you hear that?" And then starts looking in the direction of where you landed in the tree.
Where? What would Alfred be doing?
You're
I need to
again,
call my familiar something different.
Yes.
It's
Also,
funny, but confusing.
Also, I was gonna say, remember, you are invisible, so you are unseen, but they definitely seem to have heard you landing.
Yeah, I know.
Albert and Alfred.
Alfred is definitely staying still as possible. I was curious if my familiar was nearby. He can't be on me because he can't be invisible with me.
No,
I want him to fly into the tree and then kind of swoop out.
I will say, because this is happening so fast and they move quickly to see what's happening there, roll me a dex check and I'll oppose it against theirs to see if you can get Alfred, or not Alfred, but the owl familiar, in the tree before they get there and notice that there's nothing in the tree causing the sound, and then an owl swoops in after the sound has been made. Okay. That was pure luck. The moment I saw that 6, I'm like, wow, that is unfortunate. Rolls a 2. Alright, so you managed to, half freaking out Alfred, because you weren't expecting them to hear you, get out your owl familiar into the into the tree, and you see them approach, and they see your little owl, and they say, "What the hell is the owl?" And then the other one says, "Yeah, I've been noticing that it's been flying around below. You don't possibly think and one of them pulls out their crossbow and tink, shoots towards your little owl familiar.
Not the owl.
Not the owl. They must die. I'm sorry, but they've harmed. the
Okay, so
little
does a
owl.
10 hit your owl familiar, and
He has an AC of 11, and he
Alright.
flies off right afterwards.
I was gonna say I'm gonna like both of them were trying to. So let's see. The other one 14.
Man, talk about wasting resources. 2 bolts on a random owl.
Yeah. That's a 14 to hit.
Damn.
Let's see if they deal enough damage to actually hit him. I'll kill him.
1 hit point, so yes.
No, you actually what was it? Yeah, no, that's 2 hit points.
Yeah, he has 1 hit point, so there's nothing I can do.
Wait, don't you?
Or wait.
Didn't you roll for
Oh,
his
they
hit
have
points?
1d4 minus 1.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say,
haven't actually-
didn't you roll for his hit points?
No, I didn't know that was a thing with familiars. I don't use them a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can. So just roll a d4 and to subtract 1.
Yep,
So yeah,
he's dead because he has 1 hit
It is
point.
fun. Imagine if you had 0 hit points.
Yeah, I don't know how that works.
A light breeze kills him midair. But yeah, no. Yeah, they do kill your familiar and disappears.
Well,
As they're like,
right? 'Cause,
as they see it disappear,
so
they're
I
like,
just-
shit, the
you see
captain
it
was
been
right.
making me? Yeah, like I literally just looked at my phone right now.
Okay, not the best start.
Yeah, as again, remember it is a familiar, so there's no body. They just see it disappear,
I know,
and
I know.
yeah, they definitely
It's not-
seem on edge as they immediately start moving fast towards the actual compound itself, and alert the other remaining or the guards that were switching places with them of what just happened.
It also still work in our favor though, because wizards tend to use owl familiars.
I'm not saying it's a complete loss. I'm just saying.
Well, I'm wondering if Henna and Leah are there. Is there any way to take out the guards before they get back and alert the others?
No, they are not here without further.
This is happening on the inside of the thing. You guys were on the outside, and
If I
going
wanted
in the
to
boost.
really play around with things, I could use a spell to maybe get them to go out into the forest, but I'm not going to risk that much.
Yeah.
This doesn't change everything. This just makes it a little more conspicuous.
Yeah. So
Alfred's just going to stay motionless where he is.
sure. So how long are you staying motionless for?
Where is the next guards?
They pass by them not too far from where you are, and the new guards basically go towards the towers and start their watch.
Okay, explain the timing to me, like, when do these guys disappear from my sight and the others enter it?
Not that far. Maybe about not that long. Maybe about 20 seconds, or not even 20 seconds. Like 15. Like they shoot your owl. They run off about 30 feet. You hear them talking to the guards that are likely switching with them, telling them the situation of magical owl poofed out of existence. Captain seems to be right about certain familiar, like the familiars and taking different forms, including an owl.
Sorry.
Hmm?
Sorry, can you drag these guards exactly where they are when they explain to the others?
Sure.
Just because I need to visualize this to make sure I don't screw this up. This is
Yeah, I'll
really
actually move
important
them. I'll move them because you're able to still sort of see them, but they're around up here.
part. That is. Where are the? Can you bring up the next 2 and just kind of?
Sure. Let me just copy paste. The other 2 would be somewhere like around here, or here. I'll put the new 2, mark them down with purple. The old 2 will mark down with red.
Let's just change this a little bit. I am relatively confident that there's now no patrols in this back corridor area. But there's about to be. Okay.
You don't know because they just informed those two, and you also notice another two that are sort of like listening to what's happening and started to make their way out as they seem to be switching positions with the guards that are working the outer perimeter.
I'm going to leave my position here.
Where are you going?
I want to go over. I should still be invisible because I haven't done anything.
You haven't
I want
cast
to go
a
over
spell
here.
Where are you
So
going?
kind of over behind this area.
All right. As you move out, the tree rustles a little bit due to the shifting in weight, and the two guards that were, like, on watch before and noticed your owl see the tree move again, and they're like, "Wait, what the hell?" And they just run back over and like sort of inspect it a bit, but they don't seem to have noticed anything.
Anything in the area I'm in right now?
No, nothing at this exact moment. Other than like some insects.
I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, this is just gonna be how it has to. It's just gonna have to go as it is.
Yeah, it is.
Go ahead.
It's a
and
change
put
of plans.
the paper. This is how it is. You have to change on the fly. I'm gonna put the paper down where I am.
All right.
And I'd like to keep. How long can I keep it up? I think I can keep. I should make one quick check here. Okay, 10 minutes. There's no. If they take longer than 10 minutes, they are a failure of guards. I'm gonna go ahead and put down my illusion.
All right. You're putting it on the path, just off the side of the path. What?
I'm putting it kind of right here on the edge of the path of the captain, making kind of very animated, essentially just talking, just like, I didn't expect it, this was unplanned.
Okay, so
sure. just mumbling essentially off into the corner over here.
Sorry,
And
what are you doing to show the captain? Like are you casting a spell?
Major image.
All right, so you're no longer invisible.
Yep.
You're using major image. Okay, so yeah, you can have it mutter and make sounds.
So he is basically talking into the open space over here, and Alfred's going to kind of move out this way a little bit.
All right. I'll just have it. You're just doing a person, so I'll just say it's like over here, that blue square.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So right near where I put the paper. You know what? Actually, instead of Alfred moving over there, I'm gonna have him right in here. Yeah.
Where?
So that he can see when the other guards come around the corner.
Where are you putting him? Over here?
So Alfred's kind of just barely peeking around the corner, enough just where he can notice at the very end if somebody, when the next guard that's supposed to be on shift comes over here.
All right,
and technically, I'd say that square should be up to the right one more, because I want the end of this to be him walking right past.
Got it. Yeah. I'm gonna say roll me a stealth check, because now that you've broken stealth to cast a spell, this is to.
I know.
Yeah, so that goes. All right.
Stealth check, please be. Okay, 30-20. I feel much more confident with that.
All right. Yeah. So you stay around the corner. It doesn't take too long. It takes about 30 seconds or so for you see the two guards start making their way down the path. One of them you can't fully see, but you hear them like split off, and they say, "Okay, keep watch. Shoot down any flying animals you see. Kill any rodents. Blah blah blah." And remember to notify each other if we happen to see the creature that took out Billy. And then this one turns the corner and he... let's see, because again, it is dark right now, so even people with dark vision only have like 60 feet of vision. Let me see.
Sure. I'm the exception here with 120 feet.
Yeah, you are an exception, so yeah. Let me actually see the distance. Yeah, for now it doesn't look like they've, like right after turning the corner, it doesn't look like they've clocked.
That's fine. Knowing that
so
he's coming down here, Alfred's gonna start making his way over here, and he's gonna start. I went to program the illusion in, let's say, 5 seconds to crumple up a piece of paper, have a little blast of fire, and then walk around the corner and disappear as Alfred leaves the complex.
Okay. All right. So
when I say 5 seconds, you moved him. I want him to be at the entrance there, so essentially he gets close enough to see the action. Then,
yeah, once you like see, or you program it so that like once he's within 60 feet at the pace he's walking, that it does that. Okay, right?
Yep. And then
I'm just trying to remember.
Does down the corner, gone, and Alfred's out of there as well.
All right. Does Major Image create light?
It creates
a lot of stuff, but I want to know.
I think so. I think it can create light and sound, just not enough to blind.
Yeah, no, I know that. It doesn't create heat or blah, blah, blah. Like, it creates heat, but not enough to burn or anything. I just want to, like, yeah, just double check, make sure that it creates a light, because I want to see if it'll be a light source or not.
Completely real, including sound, smell, and temperature appropriate to the thing depicted. You can't create sufficient heat or cold to cause damage, or sound loud enough to deal thunder damage. Doesn't specifically say light, but it sounds like you can do everything else. So I guess it's up to your interpretation there as to whether it can create a significant light source.
Well, to be fair, it's just setting a piece of paper on fire. It's not necessarily a major.
It's literally just like a little, as if you're cupping your hands and it's just a little blast.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I know that. That's what I'm trying to double check. Like I'm just trying to double check it can create even the tiniest bit of light. If it can do so, then it'll work as you haven't touched it. Yeah, it says visible phenomenon. I'll allow it. So yeah, you managed to do that, and you start moving your way out, and start flying. As you do that, like the fire goes off and you see the little flash. The guard starts running towards the area and he says, Captain, what's... And then he turns the corner and doesn't find him. I'll say roll me a perception check as well, Alfred, as you're leaving.
Perception.
18.
That's an 18.
As you're flying off, you're like, okay, the plan's going well. You see that he, he's turning and he says, where the fuck did the captain go? And then he's like confused, and then he starts walking away from where you left the note, and starts making his way towards the tower. As it seems he did not notice it.
It shouldn't go anywhere necessarily.
So, no, not necessarily. Like, it can be found later on, but at this exact moment, it doesn't seem like the guard noticed it in the rush of seeing the captain and whatnot. So yeah, you made your way out there and leave, and it seems as though you were not pinpointed.
No, there was a few bumps, but
yeah,
could have gone worse. The seeds of doubt
better
have been
too.
sown.
But yeah, so as you get out and meet back up with Leah and Henna, what would you like to do?
Okay, so that should have been the first shift of the night. We definitely need that guy, because I've now implicated the Lysil Tower, which I wasn't wanting to do, but we kind of lost the opportunity to do it any other way. Our plan was to wait one more rotation, let it happen, and then that should be around the time of the clouds rolling in that we should be able to swoop in and grab the next guy, which is going to be the real hard part.
The next outing in about 3 more hours is going to involve the entirety of everybody who's still here.
Yes.
Because it's going to be a don't be suspicious from Nadir onto Lysel.
Yeah.
And then Nadir is going to drift around to the other side of the keep and start reenacting his Wendigo performance.
Which side of the keep are you messing around with, where the entrance is, or the other side, like over here?
So with where they're trying to position Lysel, Nadir's going to be up in the, like, deep up in the wood lines over this way, literally opposite corner from where we're trying to implant Lysel.
Yeah.
And straight up be a Wendigo in the woods. Inhuman noises sounding like a horny Wendigo.
Yeah, you said you're
trying to get the ground attention.
Yeah, I was gonna say, fair enough. I'll say, since you're doing it from a safe enough distance, you'll have to really project your voice, so I'm gonna need a Constitution check and a performance.
Okey-doke.
Is everyone else ready for the,
Constitution check was an 8. I'm not good at those.
Okay.
I ain't gonna be able to sing for a hot damn minute.
I was gonna say that it wasn't so much about like maintenance, it's more so about projecting your voice. So that was to see how loud you could get.
Hopefully it's loud enough to at least attract some of the closer attention and get them to be like, hey, someone go check that out.
Maybe. We'll see.
Although it's a really good performance.
It is a very good performance. You are very much fooling them.
I'm a monster in the making.
Yeah, I think we're already monsters.
Alright, so yeah, you do the... How long are you doing your performance for, of your Wendigo rendition?
Oh, let me double check something right quick, because that would just be hilarious. Oh, that's beautiful.
What's beautiful?
Oh, wait. They'd have to be able to see me, and I don't want to be seen. Never mind.
Alright. So...
I was going to charm up to 5 of them to make them be like, hey, we need to go see what the Wendigo's doing.
Well, how far are you from the actual walls? You said you were deep in the tree line, so that I clocked you about like a minute away.
I'd want to be where I could still, like, have a vague interpretation of the buildings. So that way I could, like, see if they crack torches or anything, or kind of track where people are moving.
Well, you can't.
Where I'd be.
I was gonna say you can't see inside. You can't see inside of the base. You can only see the actual towers.
No, I meant more see the roving patrol. Like, once I see them, that's going to be when I start my performing.
Okay, so I'll say you do that, and you do that.
But I was going to say, if they could see and hear me, then they're gonna need to make a wisdom save too. But I'd have to be seen, and I don't want to be seen.
I know. So then also roll me a stealth check. I thought you were a bit further away than what you wanted. So yeah, roll me a stealth check just to see if you managed to blend in well enough.
And we're assuming that time has passed to our next interval, correct?
Yes, we're fast forwarding.
Yeah, this has been roughly about 2-3 hours.
Wanted to make sure that was...
We're now at the clouds time?
All right. Okay. Yeah, you feel like you're blending into the shadows well enough, Midir. And they seem to have noticed the noise, and they're like, what the hell? And they're like,
Are
Wait,
you in the private party?
is this what?
Are you in the private
What is this?
party?
What Asandra mentioned about the horny
Says
deer
you're not joining.
Wendigo? And they're just like they're sticking to the wall, like they have their hand, like they back up and they keep their hand on the wall, while you're doing your thing, and they definitely seem unnerved. And once
If I were to try to throw something while doing this to make it sound like there was something running around in the trees, can I do that without breaking stealth?
no, you'd have to reroll stealth after you do that.
Wouldn't overreach too much here.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, they definitely seem unnerved, and you hear them yell out, "Hey, hey, Jace, we hear something over in the tree line. What the hell's going on?" He's trying to look, and he says, "I don't see anything. I hear it as well, but shit. Don't think it's the thing. It's not. It hasn't wandered too close already, right?" And then they say, "I don't know, but you think it's being controlled by something."
Can I throw my voice to make it sound like it's getting closer to them?
I'll say with your
'Cause
performance.
that's just throwing
yeah.
my voice.
Yeah, no. I'll say you with your performance from earlier. Yeah, you can throw your voice enough. You rolled pretty high.
Yes.
They definitely like shit, and they immediately like start turning the corner, and they say, "Crap. Okay, keep an eye on the area. Let us know if there's anybody controlling it. If there's a wizard or something, yell out to the other towers." And you see them disappear around the corner. As you've definitely instilled a bit of fear into, at least for now, 3 of them.
Good.
So that's Medea's.
Meanwhile.
So that's Medea's.
Simultaneously.
Yeah.
Meanwhile.
Yeah. Meanwhile, while that was
on
happening.
the other side of the tower.
Yeah.
Alright, so are we doing this exactly as we planned before?
We should, yeah. So, invisibility on Lysel and Alfred.
I'll
Okay.
give Lysil inspiration if Henna gives me inspiration.
Sure.
And then
All right. Is there any spells you would like to cast before invisibility is cast on you, and if you cast a spell after, it'll break?
I'm gonna have to cast silence beforehand.
Yes, you will have to either ritual cast or spell slot cast silence beforehand. Yeah.
We basically need to be ready to scurry up this wall and take this guy out. Because the second he realizes it's there, he could alert the other guard towers visually.
All right. So you guys basically. So what I'm aware of, you guys all want, or the rest of you want to get right next to the guard, while the perimeter guards are on the other side and prepare to do this. Correct?
Yeah, honestly,
I'm gonna need
the 2 of you should have to get up over here.
I'm gonna need a stealth check from everybody then, or the rest of you that isn't Medear, and obviously Creed and Selena.
Are we lightly obscured?
I will say Leah is, because of the darkness you are heavily obscured. So yeah, you get advantage on stealth check, Leah.
Alright, well, it's a 17.
Fingers crossed here.
22.
It's a 17.
I'm the lowest of the 15.
Hey, who needed Featherfall, and does that need to be cast before invisibility?
I was gonna say
we don't need it. The guard that's about to be falling out of this tower is gonna be the one that needs it if we want to keep him alive.
yes. Also, I was gonna say, you as the caster, Leah, can still cast spells. It's the person who's invisible can't cast without breaking it.
Gotcha.
So you'll be fine, unless you cast another spell that requires concentration. Then it'll break invisibility. So which tower are you doing this at again?
By the time she's having to use Featherfall, their invisibility is going to be broken anyway, because they're basically mugging the dude and throwing him out of tower.
Well, no, depends on if they do an attack roll or not.
It's going to be right here along the wall, basically.
Right where?
Where I put the red square.
Oh, okay, you're going to be right there.
We're going to need to sneak up to there on the wall. and then me and Lysil are gonna go up and try and knock this guy off that side.
Okay, what was the Lysil stealth check?
22.
22.
Okay. Where is Lysil climbing up from?
Probably the other side of it.
Presumably from like
Ping where you want Lysil to climb up from.
presumably like around here.
Okay, around here. What about Alfred? Where's he floating up from?
Since I'm invisible, I'm going to try and fly in from the opposite direction. So on.
I was gonna say,
this side.
both of you who are invisible have advantage on your stealth checks, in case you didn't remember.
But one of them got a 22.
Yeah, well, to be fair, he can also roll a natural 20. Let's be real here.
Okay, I might as well roll.
True.
He can always do better. That's the main point of it. Let's see if he does.
That's 21. That's
Okay.
Better.
Okay. All right. I want Henna and Leah to move your tokens to where you would feel you'd be just as Alfred is about to.
Okay, where are our tokens?
I'll pull out your token, Alana, but yeah, all right. There's your token.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, move your token on the perimeter where you'd want Henna or Leah to be. You said you were doing a 11-minute. Oh wait, no, sorry. This is just before. This is as you're approaching. So yeah, no, the advantage wasn't there for Lysil or
That's
Alfred.
what I thought.
Yeah.
The plan was we get up here.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was
the
just
spell, then immediately rush.
Yeah, no, sorry, because we're talking about invisibility. It sort of got to me, but yeah, no. All right, yeah. So this stealth check was basically for you guys to get to the perimeter of the tower, and for are you casting silence as a spell, or are you ritual casting it?
I'm gonna cast as a spell. I don't want to risk the ritual cast here.
All right. So you do generally break stealth whenever you cast a spell, but yeah, you're basically essentially doing this instantly.
Just to clarify you said these are 60 feet tall, correct?
For the towers, yeah.
Yeah, so
the
way
walls are 40 feet.
I'm going to pinpoint closer to the top here, where essentially the top of this dome is going to be right over the top so that he can't yell out, but it will be still vulnerable from down here below.
Sure. You guys should be able to see and interact with your tokens for Alfred and Lysil. And I also switched out the token for Midir.
Oh, cool. Alfred's got a token now.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is happening while you instantly cast. All right, so yeah, that's it. So Henna and Leah, I want you to choose where you're gonna be. Lysil, you're just sort of next to Alfred right now, right?
No. He has stepped away for a phone call.
Okay. All right. So,
So yeah, this should be me and Lysil will have inspiration between me and Henna for bardic inspiration.
Yeah.
And then we'll have silence go up, and then we're rushing up with
where are we
our
you're still there.
To get up to the top, and our goal is to push this guy off the side here.
All right, so
while doing damage to him.
All right, so yeah, you haven't used your bardic inspirations yet, correct?
No.
Organis. Okay. So as you immediately cast silence, Alfred, to essentially silence the tower for the most part, you see, at the exact same time as you're casting, the guard peer over, and he's a half-orc, and he looks down, and he immediately starts screaming, but nothing comes out, as it seems he has noticed some, if not all of you.
Oh, nope, never mind. Just charging straight up with my flight speed.
All right, I'm going to say this is going to be initiative at this point between all four and the singular soldier.
initiative between Lysel?
The
Like,
four of
okay.
you.
Lysil, Henna, Leah, and Alfred all roll initiative.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why it's rolling twice.
It's
but
fine.
go
It's
to
fine.
6.
Okay. Yeah. What about Lysil? What's his initiative?
Still gone.
So gone. He was here for a second. I swear to God.
I was.
Nope. Oh,
Yeah, he's here.
Hi. I
now I
exist,
can hear you.
unfortunately.
All right. Yeah. So what's your
19.
19? All right. You go first, Lysil.
Ah.
I see what.
What are we doing?
Climbing the tower.
Yeah.
This guy has seen us,
For the
so we
operator?
need to get up there and incapacitate him right now.
Okay.
He's currently leaning over around here, but yeah. It's currently about 60 feet up to get to the guy. Luckily you are a thief and
Goes up
can
Bonus
essentially
action dash climb.
yeah, bonus action dash climb, and you don't have to use extra movement speed for climbing. So if you want to use your bonus action and movement, you can climb up the entirety and get to him, and then you'll have your action, Lysil.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
All right, you get right in front of him. What do you want to do with your action?
Pull him off the tower.
Pull him off the tower.
All right, this is going to be a contested athletics check. You against him to see if you can yank him off.
20.
I can talk late.
I was nervous there.
You have a bardic inspiration if you need it.
Sorry, is it natural 20 or dirty 20?
Natural.
Oh damn.
All right.
I don't think he needs it.
Okay, so here's the thing, because the tower is like 20 feet taller than the actual wall, I'm going to roll a d20. If it's 10 or below, he's gonna fall on the outer part, like on the outer side of the wall. If I roll 11 or higher, he's going to land on the actual wall and only have fallen 20 feet.
Okay.
So what do we want? We want him to fall the second way?
Wait, can I?
You want him to fall the first way because
want
then he'll
low.
be down next to you and he would have fallen 60 feet.
Gotcha.
But also, Leah probably shouldn't be in the square of silence.
She's not.
She's not.
Everyone standing on the ground is not silenced.
Yeah, they're not silenced.
Okay, good.
The tower itself was silenced.
Oh, fam.
And can I?
Fam, I've seen this operator build before.
Instead of that,
But which
can
operator
I?
is this from?
Sorry, what's up, Samus?
That is cool.
Sorry, what were you saying, Samus?
I'm thinking if I just have Lysil grab him and pull him off and jump away from the tower with him, and then he can No, I'm wondering if that'll.
You already used your movement. You basically used all your movement and your action and bonus action. You can't really do anything else. You can drop yourself off the tower, but then you'll basically straight up take damage.
Yeah, okay.
But it's falling damage, which you're resistant to.
No, he's not.
This is not the worst outcome that we've come across here.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna quickly roll the d20 and see what it is.
Darn.
All right, so he landed on the actual wall itself with the 5-foot thing as he falls and.
Still be inside.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's still
If it's only
inside.
20 feet
Yeah, I was
below.
gonna say he's still inside due to the range of it. So no sound comes out, and I'm going to see how much damage he takes.
He gets knocked out from just that fall.
Probably not, because it took me a hot minute cooking someone, and I was doing some heavy damage with it.
Yeah, that's true.
Three very quiet bludgeoning damage.
Not much as we.
Can we just set up a trail of silence areas going back to the forest at this point?
I mean, you wouldn't follow it. That would be the problem there.
Can you
Oh, I
kick
can't
him down
cast.
the rest of the 40 feet?
Oh, I need to remember I have that spell. Interesting.
Judging
yeah,
by that
so-
outcome, the 40 feet might be enough damage.
Yeah, so with the 20-foot drop, he took 3 damage, and he's still like and he ends up on the wall. And he's looking around as he sees like he looked legitimately confused when he saw you, Lysel, like he wasn't expecting you. But he looks down at like Alfred, Henna, and Leah, who doesn't seem as surprised by. So it seems like he noticed those 3, but not you initially, Lysel. And yeah, it's now Alfred's turn as you rolled the same initiative with the guard or with the soldier, but you have a higher dexterity modifier.
Okay, how high up is he?
40 feet, because he's on the top of
40
the wall.
feet.
Damn, I don't have. I can't get up there like he did.
Wait, I'm kind of confused. Is Alfred? He's an owl, or is he a person, a humanoid?
He's an owlin.
He's an owlin. He's basically like an owl version. He's like an owl-specific Eric Cochran kind of thing, like the different abilities, but they're relatively the same. Except he's more fey, and yeah, but he only has like 30 feet of flying speed.
Okay. No, I for some reason I processed it as he's just an owl.
No, he has.
Well, that is
he,
the
yeah.
owl friend.
Yes, he has an owl familiar, which is a literal owl.
Bad.
He is an owl person.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, what are you doing? Because you'll only be at best with your normal movement, only be able to get 30 feet up the wall. So you'll be 10 feet below him.
And since I have my bubble of silence, almost all my spells aren't useful. Being a bard and all.
Well, hey, the good news is he's on the side of the tower where no one can see him.
Yeah.
For now.
I guess we're in the thick of this now, and this was once again not what we wanted to happen. So,
At this exact
these
moment,
guards are rolling really good perception, and it pisses me off.
I know that's the weirdest part about it. I'm like, they're actually managing to like notice some of the that you guys are
We
pulling.
aren't rolling bad; they're just rolling unbelievable perception scores. Unless you're bullshitting.
No, I'm not. Like, legitimately, I just
I know.
have them rolling, and they somehow just get lucky. Like, it's as simple as that. What's actually weirder is that, what's called? For the perception check for this dude to have noticed you, he rolled an 18, like, 1 higher. That's why I was like, oh, are you sure you guys didn't use your bardic inspiration or guidance? I was like, I need to make sure, because in case I was wrong, blah, blah, blah. You said no. You made you made the choice on that one.
Well, the only thing that I can do that's going to be moderately helpful here is I'm going to fly up.
Yeah.
As much as I can without being in silence on the periphery.
All right.
Can I use Mage Hand to try and pull this guy's leg off the edge here?
Unfortunately,
To make him fall further.
Unfortunately, you can't pull him off. You might be able to disarm him because he does have a crossbow in hand, or at least take his quiver or something like that. I will allow that.
That's not what I was hoping to hear there.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mage Hand isn't strong enough. Like, Bigby's hand, definitely strong enough. Like, Maximilian's Earthen Grasp, strong enough. This, not necessarily.
I have, like, no other attack spells, and...
Yeah, bards are not very offensively focused, unless your secrets are specifically, combat-oriented.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Madeira is quite combat-oriented, thank you very much.
I mean, you're a vampire and, like, you have a certain level of dex that... Actually, I think Alfred does have a decent dex, but he's not specifically magical spells
I've got a
oriented.
+3 to dex, but I've got 2 damaging spells in my repertoire.
Yeah. So, what are you choosing to do here?
You want to take a risk here, guys?
Do it.
What's the plan?
I have at least three combat type spells, and
Okay.
a +3 to my dex.
How far? Okay, he's definitely within range. Within range, can I cast Charm Person on this guy and tell him to not worry, we're here to help? Telepathically.
He was already attacked, so he gets advantage on this wisdom save.
I know he gets advantage.
I'm
That's why this is a
stating
big
this-
risk. Oh, wait,
I'm stating this for the fact. Yeah? Unless you want to do something else.
I can't use 2 spells in one turn, so I can't do that.
No.
Yeah, he gets advantage.
Yeah.
Now, this is literally all I can do. Otherwise, I'm just trying to rip a crossbow out of his hand, and I'm hesitant as to whether that would work, and I'm really afraid that he's just going to run off, and that we're going to be botched from the start here.
What's your spell save, DC?
16.
I have a question.
Yeah?
Could one of us use Phantasmal Force to make the wall seem thicker than it is?
Yes. Your turn is up.
Make the wall theme thicker.
Maybe not Phantasmal Force, but another kind of spell like Silent Image, blah blah blah, like something else. Okay, I'm gonna quickly do something.
I mean, Phantasmal Force could be used to make it look like he's on a larger platform than he is.
Or a
Yeah,
shorter
that's
platform
what
than
I
he is.
mean.
Yeah, he has to believe once the Phantasmal Force goes that it's the place he's standing either goes out further, isn't as whatever and whatnot. But it only affects a 10-foot square, so you're limited in that capacity. You can't make it seem like the entire wall is larger.
Maybe.
Oh my god. Wait, does DC beat or not?
It beats it. It matches the
meter
DC, therefore it beats it. That's why.
Fuck.
That's why I was like. That's why I asked what your DC was, because I was like, 16 seems pretty high. Maybe he has like 16 and 17, and they said it's 16, and I'm like, son of a bitch, he just beat it.
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
Yeah,
I think
so-
this might have just gotten botched,
Wait,
guys. I would
I-
ask if I could use silvery barbs to get rid of that advantage, but I think that counts as 2 spells in one turn.
Yeah,
Well,
unfortunately,
can I-
like,
I
Feature and doesn't
okay.
say it takes an action.
No,
Sure.
that's the new spell.
yeah. Unfortunately, like,
Uh,
if Henna was able to like use unsettling words, or like somebody had Bane or something to lower his D.
Well,
his
can
roll,
I see if Leah can do something?
Did you
So
already?
I still have both of my portents.
Do you?
What my laptop just died. So what did he roll? And if I use a portent,
Okay. Do you
You
still
got a
have
16.
both of your portents? I want to know if you used both, which ones you used, or blah blah blah.
well, I haven't used any of my portents. They're 15 and 11 from last session, I think.
Okay.
Um,
Now you are within range.
So what, guys? My laptop's dead. So
Okay.
What?
16. He just met it. He passed unless you slap that 11 on him.
Yeah. If you slap the 11, then he will fail.
So then
15
let's
on
do
him
the
anyway.
11. So then let's do the 11.
All right. So you use the 11, and Leah, you see the events unfold of Alfred trying to get this guy to calm down, and the guy looking like shaking his head and immediately looking aggressive, as it seemed to have failed. And you see the other point in reality in which it does succeed, and the guy seems placated for a little bit. And you sort of like tap into the sort of energy and what you're feeling when both times when you were on the battlefield with everyone, including Beers, and like in that big massive fight, as well as when you were in the library. 2 different times you felt this sort of energy in which you can sort of see and adjust fate down a predicted course, and you manage to nudge it just enough that you see as Alfred casts the spell, it reaches into the guy's mind, and he's like trying to shake it off, and he almost does. Then eventually, Alfred, you see from like 10 feet below, he just sort of like almost saying like, yeah, I get it. Like, oh yeah, no, sorry about that. I thought you were something else, but no sound is coming out of his mouth, and he's just like, oh shit, sorry. And he's just like pointing around everywhere, like miming like I can't speak right now, but he seems placated.
Alfred will kind of look to him and be like, I understand this is hard, but your commander is up to no good. We've been sent by the kingdom to help you get rid of him, but he's entrenched too deeply. I apologize. Can you get off this wall? We need our own agent to take your place. Be very silent.
Roll persuasion check at advantage. Let me know the result.
Don't forget, you also have a bardic inspiration.
24.
Okay. He looks to you and he sort of nods. You asked him to get off the wall.
And I'll
Yeah. Did you said like did you say to get off the wall?
Yeah,
Get
I
off
said
the wall
why don't
so we
you
can
get
put our agent in.
Yeah, why don't you get down from the wall and we're going to replace you with our agent to take this task.
Like he's pointing
and
at
he'll
like he's
even provide a rope to help him get down.
Sure, he's pointing at either side, like basically asking which side he should drop down on.
Alfred will kind of motion to do this side and he'll fly over and help set up a rope so he can get down.
Okay, yeah, he gets down, and I believe by this point he's outside of the
Yes.
thing.
And
Okay.
Alfred will just keep silent. Now, would you mind telling us what your duties are? If our agent is to be successful for the kingdom, it is imperative that he not be discovered by your friends.
We were supposed to just keep an eye on for anything, like we heard some kind of like maybe disease, dangerous diet or something like that. Some people saying Wendigo. I'm not too sure. Like there was like when we switched out, because you see that this is not the same guy that was initially coming to this tower. It's a different person. And he says when we switched out like half an hour ago, we were told that there was some like familiar. There might have been like something or some kind of arcane caster controlling this dangerous fiend deer thing. I'm not sure. It's confusing. It's
See, it's worse than I thought.
But you no. You're not wrong. I've been wondering why the captain's been acting so shady lately. It's for the last like month and a half or so. He's been constantly talking to this wizard that's been dropping by every once in a while. Like, do you actually think he's into some weird stuff? Because some of the people have been saying he's like into some weird occult shit.
It is. This information will be very helpful.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, please quickly get out of your armor so our agent can take your place.
You actually
escape into the woods before anyone else knows we're here, and we'll send you off to safety.
Sure, but I want to know, like, was that owl sent by the shit, what was her name again? Was that owl sent by the wizard Amnestra?
It's possible. It's hard to say at this exact moment. We'll need a little bit of time to investigate.
Sorry, what was the wizard's name?
Amnestra.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Lainey?
Nah, it doesn't matter who they are.
Okay.
That's Fierce's mother's name.
Oh, shit.
Leah's fucking amazed.
Shit. Get this information.
Can Leah jump in and be like, "What of Amnestra?" Like, just be like, what's going on with that?
Alfred will kind of hold up a finger, just priorities.
Not Allie, fuck it. Leah, fuck. That's the first time it happened in this session.
Yeah.
But Leah's gonna full on smack his hand down and be like, "No, tell me about Amnestra."
Not remain here for too long.
That's all I really know her as. All I know is that she's some kind of wizard, and she's been talking to the captain about something. They've been hush-hush about it. Nobody else is allowed to be even within the hall when he's talking to her, and I don't know. She seemed agitated not too long ago when she came by like a week ago. I really don't know. She just gives me the creeps sometimes. Sometimes she mutters to herself. I don't know what's going on. All I know is that the captain mentioned that wizards, can summon familiars and stuff like that. I know that she's a
Hey,
wizard.
look, guys, we were right. They really are enemies of the kingdom.
Okay.
All I know is that she's a wizard, and we saw like a familiar earlier. That was an owl. So I don't know. You're saying that the traitors to the kingdom. So maybe that is I don't know. Yeah, I'll give you the armor. I'm gonna head back into town. Try and bring them to justice, please.
Don't you worry. We'll do everything we can. He'll let him take off his armor. Make sure he also gets the information so that he knows, Lysil knows all the duties he's supposed to attend to and all that.
Oh, yeah, with your 24, yeah. He's gonna say, shit, look, I shouldn't say this, but because I trust you, he's looking at you, Alfred, we also have these special arrows. He takes the quiver off his back. They're supposed to, if we end up getting attacked or something, for example, the sort of, when I couldn't talk, that was one of the things that Captain warned us about, that sometimes, there might be darkness or silence, that we were supposed to launch an arrow into the sky that would become a bright beacon of light, so that the others would know that this tower was under attack.
See, but could it not also be used to signal for an enemy force to attack?
What do you mean?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. This is good information to know.
Alright, if you're getting your friend to, deal with this, then he just sort of hands you his crossbow and his quiver full of arrows. Shit. Crap. Try and get your friend to let the others know without the captain knowing if you think he's a traitor, but all I know is that the captain's starting to make plans for an attack by that weird Wendigo deer thing. He's starting to make defensive plans.
See. Thank you very much for all this information. We'll lead you out of here once our friend has taken your position.
Alright, yeah, thanks. And then he just sort of salutes to you, and then he just starts making his way out. He says, "Shit, can somebody hand me a cloak?"
Alfred will hand him some sort of cloth, although it's probably way too small.
All right. He has this half capelet, and he's just good enough. And then he just sort of starts running off towards the wilderness path. I'll say he's gonna try and do a relatively stealthy, so that the other guard tower doesn't notice him.
He's gonna try and what?
He's gonna try and do a what?
He's gonna try and move around a bit stealthily, so that the guard in the other tower doesn't notice him.
Alfred will follow this guy out as he goes, assuming Lysil has the
up
information
the tower.
he needs to go ahead and take his post and get things started.
Well, did Lysil, what's called, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so, yeah, I'll say that Lysil, you come down and you overhear the information.
Even if he didn't, Alfred could relay everything telepathically as he stood in that tower.
Okay, fair enough. Then, yeah, the guard starts making his way out. You're following the guard just to help him get onto the main road and then coming back.
And in the middle of the woods, Alfred would like to cast silence once again and kill this guy.
Okay,
I liked Alfred.
Okay, kill him with what?
I've got... Yeah, honestly, we're just gonna have to go with just a rapier. I'm hoping he can pull this off since this is an armorless, unarmed individual in the middle of the woods.
Sorry. I mean, you can always attempt to. I'm gonna say, like, you were following right behind him, like you were keeping in lockstep with him, or were you, like, waiting till he moved a bit and then thing? Because remember, like, he's trying to get onto the main road, meaning he's gonna, like, try and pass by the other tower.
Yeah.
I mean, are you saying he's, like, running right past this other tower and not kind of taking a roundabout way through the woods?
Yeah. No, he's going through the woods, but, like, what I mean is... No, sorry, yeah, no, he's not going through the woods. He's going, like, just sticking to, like, the wall of the tower, like, right against the wall.
Alfred would absolutely disincentivize that. Like, that is not a good way to go. If you'll follow us this way, we can lead you out to the main road
I'm gonna
in a safer manner.
Alright, I'm gonna say roll me a persuasion check at advantage again.
That's a 26.
Okay, he says, yeah, sure. And so yeah, you're sticking right next to him the entire time while walking through the woods.
I'm specifically looking to just lead him. It can be almost on the way to the main road.
Yeah.
Just to keep the illusion going. But
No, that
as
again,
soon as
yeah.
they're in a decent spot where they can't be seen.
What I want to what I want to
standing
know
on-
is
the
Alfred
other side.
leading him, or is Alfred, like, trailing behind him or leading ahead of him a bit?
He'd probably be leading him in that scenario.
How far apart would he be leading him? Like, I mean, more so, like, would he give, like, a bit of a berth so that he could be like, okay, come through this path, like this area, so that, like, he can sort of scout it out a bit? Or would he just, like, be 10 feet in front of him?
I mean, sure, it would be probably just, scout out a little bit, come over here, scout out a little bit, come over here, leading him kind of into the woods, maybe.
Sure.
You know.
At some point, while you're, like, doing that, he disappears.
I don't even see him.
You can choose to try and find him, but it seems like he...
So fucking lootly. I need to know where he just went, because the spell's not going to last forever.
Yeah, roll me a perception check at disadvantage because it is not... Or you got 120, so yeah, I'll say straight roll.
You said perception check?
Yeah.
You said regular roll, right?
Yeah, so 19...
Okay, so that's a 19.
Alright. You gonna use any of your die or no?
We don't. Yeah, I'll go ahead and use my Bardic Inspiration, because I don't think that's going to last any longer.
Sure.
Yeah, well, hell, I can give myself guidance, too. There's no reason not to now. So that's a 2.
Did you ever use the
and
Bardic Inspiration I gave you?
He is.
That's a 4. I've been saving it, because I've been afraid I'd botch a roll.
So what's the
That
total?
is now a 23.
23.
23.
Okay.
Yeah.
Looking around... give me a sec.
No, man. Sure, never ego child that.
Looking around, you still are not able to find him. It seems he slipped off and possibly made his way towards the main road with a natural 20 stealth check.
Fred's going to have to go to the main road at this point to find this guy before the spell runs out. At
So-
the most, we can hope that even if he realizes he's charmed, he believes what Alfred said if he gets away.
Maybe.
One second. Are we going to sleep right after this?
Probably,
I don't know.
yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna, instead of that natural 20, he's gonna have a 15 stealth.
You're not within 60 feet.
Ah. Wait, it only applies within 60 feet?
Yeah.
Good to know.
We bent that rule a few times.
I've bent it
Yeah.
for the sake of fun and for the sake of, like, Enoch shenaniganery, but normally it's a creature within 60 feet of you.
these shenanigans are more serious.
I have 2 inspirations. Can I give Elf?
You can.
Honestly, I don't think it's gonna matter. I wouldn't waste it on me because
I will. I was gonna say. I
he
will
rolled
say.
a natural 20.
No. I was gonna say. I do have a certain number that if you pass, you will be able to notice him.
I'll leave it up to you. I rolled a 17, so I'd have to roll an 18, 19, or nat 20 to do better.
What do you mean? You rolled a 19 for your perception check plus 4.
I mean, I rolled the 17 on the natural die, so I'd have to roll an 18, a 19, or a 20.
No. The inspiration.
that.
The inspiration is an additional d6.
Oh, I thought we did inspiration was just a advantage roll.
No. I do it differently.
No,
where
that's how it's
basically
normally
whenever
done.
basically how I do it is whenever I give you inspiration, it acts as like the base level bardic inspiration die of a d6. On top of you can use it along with guidance and a bardic inspiration die.
Well, that's up
But
to you.
the question then becomes, how far off is he? Because right now he's sitting at a 23.
I'm not going to tell you the
so if he
number,
were to get
but I'm not going to tell you the number, but I will say that it is possible with an additional d6.
It's like, is it close or far on the terms of a d6 is all I really am concerned with.
Again, that, like, if I
By the way,
told
by the
you
way,
how
by the
close it'd
way,
be,
by the
that
way.
would be the issue.
If I
so
had to
so-
guess, it'd be either a 25 or a 30, but 30 is almost too far up the chain. So
30 is too
25
far off the chain, because even with the d6, the highest you could get is a 9 on a 29.
It's up to you,
with a
Hannah.
D6.
If you want to use the bardic inspiration here, you can.
I don't think that's
it's hard
Hannah.
to say whether we'll pass it. And like I said, it is not impossible.
Yeah, that was
This guy
was
doesn't just believe things even after the charm is over. He's just gonna know he was charmed.
yeah. I was gonna say that's
what he's
also
saying, dear Z1, is that it's up to you.
yeah. It's also Zane who was offering the bardic or the
Oh,
inspiration.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was offering it.
Yeah. You can have it.
All right,
It's fine.
roll the d6.
I mean, Drake
Magnus.
does have 2.
Well, now I know.
He can only use 1 anyway, so that's a total of.
Turn that into a 27 with the addition of the inspiration.
All right. No, that'd be 26.
Rolled a 20. Oh yeah. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's
no,
right. I
sorry.
rolled 23, so 26.
All right. Looking around, Alfred, you feel this surge of confidence in your abilities and your night tracking capabilities. Looking around, it takes you about 5 minutes, but you do eventually find him traversing down the path. You needed a 25. which is why I was like, damn, you rolled a 2 for both the D4 and
Yeah, I know.
the D8. But yeah, luckily with the help of a little bit of a unknown figure, Alfred, you managed to find him.
Are the other two here with me, or is it just Alfred alone?
Just Alfred, you said you were going to lead him, so I figured
That's fine. Then, like I said before, Alfred's gonna cast silence around the area and then kill this guy.
So are you going to get his attention, or are you just going to swoop down like a bird of prey?
I'm swooping down like a bird of prey here.
Alright, sure, what are you attacking him with?
A rapier.
Alright, make your attack roll. Advantage, since it is a surprise.
Snowball's chance in hell he could hear you swooping.
Technically, an owlin's feathers are silent to begin with.
Yeah.
So like I said, not a snowball's chance in
Alright.
hell he could hear you.
That hits.
Yeah, back here.
So, why is that an unarmed strike?
It either way it hits. I'll
Yeah.
just roll the damage,
I mean, he has no armor on.
Yeah,
I would hope
okay.
it hits. I suppose I never equipped my rapier. That's why. Just so I can actually roll the damage die here. So to start, that is 8 piercing damage, and I'm going to use my psychic blade to add another 3d6 to that.
Alright, so you use one of your bardic inspirations. Roll me a 3d6 to the damage.
Let me make sure. Yeah, it's extra. 17 damage.
Alright, yeah. How do you want to do it?
No pleasantries, just rapier right through the chest.
All right. So what happens is, while he's like sort of moving around silently,
Two fucking team, bro.
he ends up not
Okay.
noticing. God, that's a lot of numbers. He doesn't end up noticing the silence around him as he's like already moving so silently. He's like, okay. Then he's just
Bro,
like
fuck
moving,
off, man.
and then out of nowhere he feels like a sharp pain in his
This fucking
back
shit, bro.
as you stab him through the spine, right through his heart. And he looks back and he's like, in a silent voice, just trying to mutter why. And then he just sort of like slumps over dead on the ground. As
Okay, well,
seems like he's
night
gone.
1 has gone differently than expected, but not completely terribly.
We
Sorry,
do
let
need
me-
to
let me
remember to
ask
move
this,
that
like-
body you just produced, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna either,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
honestly, instead of moving him and creating a trail, I'd almost rather just bury him right here and cover it with leaves.
sure, roll me a perception check then, Alfred.
Uh-oh.
17.
Alright. You notice that he seems to be very vaguely breathing.
Very.
Very what?
Vaguely breathing. As he wakes up.
What?
What?
Fucking half-orcs.
Nope, he was a human, but he was making death saves and wasn't outright.
He
Well,
got a nat 20.
Yeah, he rolled a natural 20 for his death save, so he's up and conscious. He's like,
With 1 hit point.
with 1 hit point, as he's looking to you, and I'm gonna roll a d20. You choose high or low, Alfred, because whichever one you choose, I will say that if it lands on that, you will be within like 5 feet of him. If when you noticed, but if you roll lower, then I'll say you were like 15 feet away or more. It's purely bad luck. High or low. Can everybody hear me?
Can't believe Magnus is dead.
Do you hear me?
No, we couldn't.
I can
What
hear
were
you
saying?
now.
Low.
Ooh,
Low? Okay.
the same dudes?
Alright. It's high, so you were about 15 feet
Are you
away.
crazy? Of course.
As I'm gonna just say quickly roll initiative, he's got 1 hit point. Like, this is just to see if he has a turn before you have yours.
He's got.
Team
To
wipe.
16.
Team wipe all over.
Yeah, you go first. I'll say just make your attack roll with advantage. This is just to see if you hit or not.
On climb tag, right?
Okay, you make sure he's dead. You double tap him. You just stab him through the brain, like start super shanking him through the brain.
Do what Madir did and make sure that it looks. Make it. Or.
No. There can't be any trace of a body here.
Remember, we have you in the tower as him.
Be DFA, don't fuck around.
Yeah,
Right.
after the near impossible luck of being stabbed in the chest and still managing to wake up, Alfred, you just make sure he stays down
Go
this
beach,
time.
Beach check.
I like that I rolled a nat 1 and a nat 20.
Yeah, like for a brief moment.
And here we see the duality of man.
Pretty much.
The duality of Magnus.
Yeah, like
Yes.
no. What happens is I want to imagine what happens is that the dude, like, his eyes like shoot open and you hear a big gasp as you dropped silence, thinking that everything was fine, and then you hear, and then you immediately like just very sharply run in and just like start rapidly shanking him in the brain multiple times, like
Yeah.
through both eyes, through the nose, like just until he just looks like
It's 40
mincemeat.
people not be proper. You could run 2 rows or quads, I think.
Alright.
No, just 2 to the chest, 1 to the head.
Yeah.
Yeah, this time you
How-
triple tap him to make sure.
Yeah, you can.
How far are we from the place right now?
You
would
were a
say?
solid. You were a solid like 15 minutes away.
Okay, well, I'm going to start. Man, I don't think I can do anything but drag this guy, but we can't risk anyone finding the body. I don't know, is it better to drag this guy and risk leaving a trail, or just burying him right here and covering it the best I can?
Dragging him away, you'd be able to go back and kind of fuck with the trail, make it more difficult.
He's got a point. We have time. We finished
really
our
do.
nightly dues, so I assume everyone
Now
else
the rest
is...
of it is really on the 3 guards making noises outside and our inside man sowing discord.
Okay, yeah. Alfred will work to just kind of bring this guy further away into the woods and whatnot, and eventually burying him.
How much further are you going into the woods? Because you're already 15 minutes in.
It's gonna take a while if I do too much, so let's say 20 minutes and then bury the body and hide it under leaves.
Alright, so you're basically out there for about 35 minutes. While this is going on, Lysil, you were told that, like, the dude had 15 minutes in his shift before it was time to change. And... Or actually, no, he would have told you that he had, like, 5 minutes left before he had to change. And, yeah, so you have about 5 minutes before you have to, I guess, like, go inside as him and, like...
I have no plates.
Stay there for the time being, or do whatever you want. I don't know what Lee and Hen are doing in that meantime, because Alfred is going to be gone for about 30 minutes.
Full team up there.
Did they get me the armor?
Yeah.
I would
Actually, no,
assume
sorry.
so.
Alfred is actually going to be gone for about, like, if I remember correctly, about an hour, yeah, like an hour and 10 total.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave you the armor, he gave you the crossbow and the quiver.
Okay. So, shape change into him, then?
I can't believe that dude survived.
That was highly improbable.
These guards need to stop rolling so damn well. Things would have gone so much better if they had just rolled, like, 2 lower on every single roll.
Just imagine if you rolled low for your perception check, you just looked and see that the guy disappeared. Like, he rolled a natural 20 to like, go on to the main road, and then he just, like, outfoxes you, and he's just crawling away from being stabbed.
See, the first time, I felt like there was a scant chance that the charm would have still taken effect and he might have still believed what was being said.
Yeah.
Since we let him go. I didn't want to risk it, but...
Yeah, no, after you stabbed him, that would have definitely changed things.
Yeah, after I stabbed him, all bets were off.
Alright, but yeah, so, yeah, what's Hen and Leah doing?
I guess. I mean, technically, we don't have anything left to do, so I suppose we should probably just go back to camp, right?
Yeah, Leah's headed back to camp to wait.
Alright, roll me stealth checks, both of you, to try and get out of this area without being seen.
I'll be lightly obscured.
You are, or you both
Cool.
are, but obviously it doesn't really apply to Hen as much as it does to Leah.
The 19.
Oh no.
Can I give Hannah my 15?
You can.
I'm gonna give Hannah my 15.
Alright.
Yeah. I love that. I was like, oh dear.
So as you guys
Not
are,
tonight.
as you guys are like making your way across the wall, like somewhere around here, and you like start to turn the corner, like just trying to get thing, you see like the guard that's over on the tower shoot a raccoon out of the tree, and it just thuds to the ground, and he says, "Fucking got him," and then he just like, "Yeah, that'll show you," and just looking around, yeah, and then he just like, and for a second you swear to God that like he's gonna notice you. And then he just goes back and he says, that was only slow shift. A few more minutes, and you guys manage to slip away while he seems preoccupied, congratulating himself for getting through the shift.
I dropped one.
And
I dropped one
you
up
managed
there.
to both slip away.
Up here, just
Lysil, roll me a quick, I guess, intelligence check just to keep track of the time.
14?
Okay, I'll say that's enough. Yeah, you managed to like count it down properly and perfectly, and then realize the shift is supposed to be done, and I guess start making your way. And I assume disguised, changeling disguised as the previous guy.
Yeah.
All right.
I would hope so.
I would hope so.
A lot of the plan is contingent upon him being
I
disguised
mean,
as the
I
other
assume so. Like, unless you wanted to say something else, but yeah. You go up the path. You meet up with the other guard, and he says, So, Jean, you good there? Anything happen on your end?
I'm gonna speak in Lysol's voice, but I just want you to.
I know
want
you're
to-
copying the voice of the guy as you study.
Okay. Everything's fine. Just boring, honestly. But
Fair enough. I was for a majority of the time as well. I managed to shoot a raccoon out of the tree.
You dropped on killing?
what did he say?
He said I was bored for most of it as well, but I managed to shoot a raccoon out of the tree.
Oh, impressive.
Oh god, we're not going to be getting sleep tonight.
Or
Come
two.
on, buddy. As you head up,
Getting.
What?
you you tag out with two other guards who
A net person.
pass by
I
you
just got a third
and
party.
make your way towards the actual
There's a Nets bro.
compound.
That's back-to-back games where a Nets team just
getting
came
in.
out of nowhere.
Sorry, not over there, but over here. So yeah, as you get in, you see what looks to be the rest of the garrison over inside of this building, sort of in a lounge area with couches and whatnot, and talking amongst themselves. The captain's there, and he talks to both of you, and he talks to both of you and asks you, what, or not just two of you, but also the third tower guard and the other two who are out on watch, and he says, okay, give me the reports. And the two that were on the perimeter talk about the sounds they heard, so did the third tower guard. The one other tower guard mentioned that they didn't hear anything, and that, they didn't hear anything, and that they just, didn't do anything in particular, and then he looks towards you. What do you tell him?
Also, didn't hear any noises. Nothing to report. Nothing event or no.
All right, roll a deception check, Lysil.
19.
19?
Yes.
Okay. He says, right. Eat up. Once it hits midnight, we're going to get rob the others, and we're going to start making the plan for what comes
we're going to
next.
what?
Now, give me a sec.
This internet is not doing great today.
Well, so far this hasn't gone the way we planned, but our plans have been adaptable since we added our wonderful little Alfred friend.
Quite the nut dear.
I'm amused by what all is going down. How about everybody else?
Quite. I have
Batman's
feelings.
related to Fierce's parents? Or just in general?
I just have feelings.
Okay.
A lot of feelings.
So, Lainey, how do you think our little adventure has gone down?
I think y'all are lucky that Rune is lenient.
What do you mean?
Aren't guidance and inspiration dies, you're supposed to have to add them before you roll?
Before you know if the real results were a failure or a success.
Yeah.
I think with guidance lady meant casting guidance. Like, aren't you supposed to cast guidance before you?
Yeah, he did cast guidance. He did cast guidance for like the perception check and with the bardic inspiration beforehand. Like, the only thing was the inspiration from Zane, which, yeah, I was a little lenient about, only because it was a natural 20, so if I wanted to be a real dick, I could have just said, nope, you automatically fail unless you rolled a natural 20. But I wanted to give them, like, a bit of a chance. There was still a chance of failure there, so yeah. But yeah, he says this, Lysil, and
I didn't hear what you said.
what was that?
You cut out too much when he was speaking.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was saying that he said after you like told him what happened during the watch, he said, "All right, trying to rest up and grab whatever you can to bite. For now, we've gotta prepare for. We gotta prepare our defenses tonight. What we learned, there might be some kind of rogue mage or something
Yeah, what's the
traversing about, controlling that thing." You see off in the corner this what looks to be high elven woman in a dress, looking combination of uncomfortable and also very unhappy. And he says, all right, I'll go eat up, try and talk to the boys. I don't know, do whatever you want until midnight, because for now, try and keep your spirits up, because we're going to have a long bit ahead of us for the next few days, or next few hours. Hopefully it doesn't take days for what's to come. So you know what, I'll just say, roll me a general performance check just to sort of mingle in and blend in as much as you can, Lysil, taking on the personality and persona of this individual that you had a brief interaction with.
Oh, a what check?
Performance.
You're cutting out a lot today, Ron.
I'm saying performance.
Yeah, no, I heard you that time. Just like, just like. Anyway, the 18.
18? Okay. At least for how, like, you're planning on staying here for the night, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
I assumed that was the plan.
All right. Yeah, you managed to blend in seamlessly. They don't seem to notice or take note of you, at least any more so than they normally would. You help them set up defenses in the basement, and you hear the plan throughout the night. But first I want to know, what is Alfred doing after he gets back from burying the body?
I mean, he's just gonna return to base after that. There's nothing left that he should do tonight.
Sure.
List.
You get far enough. Yeah, Lysil, you managed to learn of all of their plans to lure out the creature that is stalking them, including leaving a trail of blood to sort of lure it into the basement and setting up traps in the basement to kill it, including some ambush plans. And you were also given 3 vials of poison to dip your arrows in.
Honestly, I don't think I am.
Yeah. So yeah,
You
got the lesson?
Keep it a buck. I'll never lie to you.
So yeah, as you like aren't you also trying to spread misinformation or no?
This TV is super shaking, man. I just grabbed the chair to get a little closer. I think this will help some.
Sorry, what are you saying,
Are you ready?
Lysil?
No, it's a smaller TV.
Give me some.
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Sorry. What I was trying to say is, well, What are you trying to do, Lysel? Or are you trying to like
Lysel
spread?
has stepped away from the computer at the moment.
Oh, he has. Okay, then yeah. All right, then I'll say that at this point, you got eventually all of you guys make your way back towards camp, and the only one who hasn't returned is Lysil for obvious reasons. So what are you all gonna do? As it seems, everything appears to have worked out for good or ill.
That didn't go
I would
quite
probably,
as...
I'd probably take the time to coach my wonderful compatriots, the Wendigo sounds.
Sure.
That way we can continue the psychological warfare.
All right.
Henna will accept these lessons
Understandable.
with
all right.
some form of eagerness.
Understandable. Okay. Yeah. So you managed to, or you start teaching them the Wendigo sounds. What about Leah, Alfred? What are you two doing? Also learning the Wendigo sounds, or doing something else?
I mean, yeah, Leah has nothing else to do until people go to sleep, so.
Okay.
Until people go to sleep, that's ominous.
It sounds very ominous. I can't believe she's gonna slit Henna's throat in her sleep.
Don't do that.
Honestly, at this point, I don't think you'd do anything. She just wake up with an extra scar at this point.
Yeah, I mean, honestly.
Oh, sad. I guess I can't bring back my familiar without...
Without the component materials, yeah.
Maybe tomorrow in the day I can go get component materials from... Well, no, that's kind of risky. It's charcoal. Maybe I can just make the amount of charcoal I need. Burn everything.
I mean, you can, but I think you also need like a certain amount of incense and whatnot.
We could always ask Leah to go get those, since for the most part she's sitting on her thumbs for the rest of this plan.
No, we need her invisibility in every scenario, just about.
Yeah.
True, but until we go back inside, which we're not going to until at least a day of Lysel spreading chaos.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you have the brass basin you need for the Find Familiar spell. You just need the incense, I believe, and charcoal.
Yeah,
but the charcoal
I
can
don't
be
know.
made. The charcoal can be made. You just have to get the proper amount of incense.
I just don't know that I want to go into town to buy that, given they just killed a familiar.
Mm-hmm.
That would incriminate Alfred if he bought the stuff needed for the Find Familiar spell.
Yeah.
That's why we send Leah.
What could you ever
That would
possibly
incriminate
do?
her, but okay.
Yeah. How much incense do you need for the spell?
It just says 10 gold pieces worth of charcoal, incense, and herbs.
Yeah, I'll say that yeah, you might be able to scavenge for the herbs because the herbs themselves aren't too rare. The charcoal you can obviously make to mitigate some of that, but yeah, you definitely need like at least 3 to 4 gold pieces worth of incense. Unless anybody
now,
happens to have some.
For now, I think it's okay. We can deal without Alfred for most of the rest of the plan, to be honest.
Sure. You there, Lana?
What's up?
Sorry, you there?
I am here.
Okay. Just wondering if you're... Like, in case they ask Leah to go into town to get incense, just wanted to know if you... Like, you heard that in case she'd say something,
That incredibly depends on who asks her.
I mean, it's a general idea that's been floated around by Midir, I assume Henna and Alfred, because he says that he can get his familiar back, but he doesn't want to go into town to incriminate himself for the material needed, and he needs about like 3 to 4 gold pieces worth of incense.
Yeah, but Leah's not stupid. She's not going to go incriminate herself instead of him. She doesn't like him to begin with.
True. Fair enough. So
Not to mention, you and Henna should probably stay away from the town, since you all are well-documented wanting documents to the place that we're currently terrorizing.
Mm-hmm. All right. So yeah, seems like nobody's going for the incense.
I think I'll be fine. My owl friend has done his job for now, and I'll get him back later.
All right. So I'll say you go to sleep, and Lysil, are you just gonna go to sleep, or are you going to do anything while everybody else in the base is sleeping? Oh, right, he's not here. Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, he's still not back yet.
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah. So next day rolls around.
Wait, Rune, can I do
We'll
my
just
thing
assume
first?
that he's.
Sure.
We'll just assume that he's sowing chaos.
Sure. I'll say roll me the check needed.
So it's 8 sleight of hand checks, and 1 intelligence check.
What? I'll just say 1 sleight of hand check.
Oh, okay. I think you wanted 4 more.
And 1 intelligence check. But yeah, you do
Okay.
roll the sleight of hand at advantage.
Okay, so it's only 1 sleight of hand. It's only 2 sleight of hand checks and 1 intelligence.
Yeah.
Okay. 14 sleight of hand. 18 intelligence.
All right. Give me a sec.
Ah, yes. I forgot we have the budding hedge witch that's very rapidly on the descent to being a villain as well.
You know, it's very
Meanwhile,
silly.
bucked off 300 feet into the woods to take a nap. So everyone else can sleep.
Something very cash money.
I feel like she probably made a nest of her belongings and curled up in it. I feel like that's how Henna sleeps now that she's so small.
So
I
what I
also
hear
feel
is
like at
you're
some
going
point-
to become a dragon.
So yeah, you
Tiny
rolled a
dragon,
13
very
for
tiny dragon.
you rolled a 13 for the sleight of hand, correct?
14 sleight of hand, 18 intelligence.
All right. I will say, after your trance,
No, I'm doing this before my trance.
Okay, before your trance, with only yourself and Henna up, you managed to do what you wanted.
Very nice. Okay, good night. Everything is done, right? It just requires like an activation.
Yep.
Cool.
So yeah. You guys all wake up the
One
next
doll,
morning.
or did you make multiple other dolls? That's all I need to know.
You don't need to know shit at all.
Well, I mean, if it's only one, that means the person whose hair we're going to try to get is definitely Veers' mom's hair. If it's multiple, hers and probably a few other people's.
I mean, I'm fairly sure she just made one of Alfred's.
Okay, what did I miss?
Welcome
not
back.
much.
We're making voodoo dolls of Alfred.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna ask, Lysil, what do you want to do, like during the night, with
You
the?
digitized, good sir.
I cannot help that because of the situation I am in. Haha. My laptop is at it.
Rune, you're digitizing.
And understand a word you're saying.
Why am I hearing him fine and y'all aren't?
I don't know.
But either way, he's been trying to ask what Lysel does before going to sleep, or does he just fuck off and go to sleep?
Remind me what the plan was. I mean, like,
The plan was for you to psychologically get people thinking the man was against them.
Yeah. Okay.
You might want to maybe investigate a little bit on the feeding process of the griffin, because we have to figure out how to put that bitch in get rid of it.
He was just given poison.
Let's say he was straight up given pretty vile poison.
So, yeah, collect hair. Collect hair from a specific person. I can do it this day.
Right now needs to use
Everybody, either yours is mom, the captain, or the griffin, honestly.
Oh,
a voodoo doll of a griffin. I'm using.
Rune specifically said
Lowest
creature.
risk and easiest to get.
It would be a creature. So my main concern are the captain, Veers' mom, and the griffin.
Those creatures not that small. Here's his mom being cast up on my list.
He gets blood, hair, Semen, whatever you can get from that.
And Seaman Mears' mom have a whole new host of questions to ask.
If you can get semen from my mom, I will be extremely impressed.
There are people who are mothers with she/her pronouns that have semen. It's possible. It's a magical world.
It's a magical world. Can you hear me clearly?
Turns out both of yours' parents are just trans.
Can you guys hear me?
Could.
No. Yes, we can hear you now.
You're much
No,
clearer.
the joke is that he's actually secretly part Grung and he can change his gender at will.
Veers is he is totally messing up in a dress next session.
That is something that's happening.
Yeah, the entire Fermaris clan is just getting gender bent.
So just like with Dear Asui, you can change your gender at will because, like an amphibian, you have that hermaphrodite type of chromosome.
100%. But yeah, yeah, I was gonna ask Samus, is Lysil doing anything during the night while the guards and everyone are sleeping?
I think he's gonna take a walk around the What time is it right now? Like 12?
Like
By this point, it's somewhere around 3 a.m.
Around.
3 a.m.
Okay. At 12, they were going to enact the plan. So I'll take like an hour to like learn like the lay of the place.
Huh?
And then I'll take an hour to learn the lay of the place, and then head to the barracks. If anyone's asleep, well, maybe not.
Then what?
I'm thinking.
What?
I'm thinking.
Okay, I didn't hear you. You cut out.
You have been all the entire session, so.
Me as well?
No.
Oh. Just lay of the land, try and find out where important things are.
Alright.
And then just get to bed to not
Alright,
see
roll me a stealth check if you're doing this while everybody's asleep.
Okay.
Tell me the result.
You're gonna be sneaky, roll the stealth.
Yeah, I'm rolling stealth. 19.
Okay. I also want to know, you said you were gonna spread misinformation and whatnot, right?
I want to know.
I want to know if you are spreading misinformation.
Sorry.
No, I'm trying to say it loud enough so you guys can hear me.
It's not even.
It's
not a matter.
loud. You're cutting out.
Yeah, the problem is the louder you speak, the more it cuts out. Because it's cutting you off at a volume level, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. At this point, can you still hear me properly?
Yes.
That's a lot better.
Alright. Are you spreading misinformation? Because that was part of the plan. Are you going around and saying, like, oh, you know...
Yeah, I think before that Tower 3 guy, the one that shot the raccoon, I think once we're done, like, I'm gonna just pull him aside and, like, the guard I am right now was the guard who saw the captain walk to the side, right? Who saw...
No, he's not.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that.
A little curious that paper was still there.
I'll go grab...
Lysel would have been the one to know.
don't go out now. Leave it there. And if it was, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's not the biggest thing, but it's something.
So I just want to
If it's
know.
still there by your shift tomorrow, bring it in.
Yeah. Okay.
So is Lysil going to try and say, oh yeah, like the captain's being shady, blah blah blah, like trying to spread that misinformation, or
Well, he wasn't. The guard he is wasn't the one to see the captain illusion. So
No.
probably not.
That doesn't
right
mean
now.
he can't still have misgivings, because you did just sit there and see him say that everybody's about to be losing a lot of sleep because they're super terrified of whatever it is that's in the forest.
See, I don't feel like that's entirely an unreasonable thing. Like we could be, they could be under attack. So
Technically, they are under attack,
Well,
but I mean,
they don't know.
if they're going to magically seal someplace and the man has a griffin,
yeah, you haven't
see
seen.
what I'm getting at, right?
I was gonna say you haven't seen the griffin while you've been here.
You have enough evidence presented right now to make a wise judgment call and say, hey, I feel like our commander's being coerced or is losing his mind or insert something here. To just slowly say, hey, I'm concerned about this dude's mental health. This doesn't seem like a logical response, especially because he can run away from this on his griffin.
It doesn't have to be over. It just needs to be the potential idea. Like, what do you think about the commander?
We're trying to do this not quite heavy-handedly.
Right.
I know it's a strange concept for this group.
Very. Very. So I think what he's gonna do, he'll talk to the one who shot the raccoon and just be like, kind of feels like we're going a bit overboard with the preparations. You think? Or these with the
I mean, not really. After what happened, like, one of us got murdered by God knows what. You saw his body as well as I did.
oh god.
Nothing human did that, and apparently now it's being controlled by a wizard or something. And there was even the noises that were happening earlier, like.
Huh?
Huh?
You cut out like a million times during that.
The guy is saying, I mean, you saw what happened to